genital odors, it's
Right.
Nodoro.
Nodoro.
Not sphincterine, I think you were thinking
Right.
of. All right. What game show host has talked to Howard about his severe case of OCD?
Baba Booey.
Gary?
Howie Mandel.
That is correct for 10 points. What rock legend had a cameo in Private Parts and calls Howard jerk? Chance to make up those.
Baba Booey.
Gary.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne is correct for 10
thinking
points. Wow. Crazy Alice claims she is half black and half what?
Italian.
That is correct, Mark. You got 10 points on the board. You now have 15 points. In a show segment, Robin revealed that when she was younger, she used to... Yes, Mark?
Meat and vegetables.
That is correct. When Howard TV crew member took a picture of their daughter sitting in Howard's chair.
Baba Booey.
Gary.
Doug Goodstein.
That is correct. Porn star Mary Carey has a crush on what Stern Show staffer?
Baba Booey.
Gary.
Will Murray.
That is correct. When is Artie's birthday? 10 points. When is Artie's birthday?
Wow.
October 11th.
I knew it was
sorry.
October.
All
but I
right,
didn't-
listen, the score now is 75-25. Because I like Mark,
How
I'm going
about
to give him
some
a chance.
50-point questions?
I'm going to give you 25-point questions. I'm
All
going to
right, that'll
rapid
work.
fire 25-point questions. This could change everything.
2 questions and I'm in it.
That is correct. So here we go. But these are obviously harder than the 5s and the 10s.
Well, they haven't been that hard.
Here we go. How
You
old
just gotta
was
be fast.
How old was Kenneth Keith Kallenbach when he died?
Can I ask you a question, Howard? How
You
many
are
of
playing
these?
a game. Stop asking questions.
Well, how many of these are
The
going to be?
answer was
are there gonna be?
39. I don't know.
Okay.
Do I know?
Okay.
I'm just a host.
Okay.
What comedian and Stern Show regular who appeared at Artie's roast with a cat?
Baba Booey.
Gary.
Colin Quinn.
Colin Quinn is correct.
It's not full.
Billy Joel's wife, Katie Lee Joel, came on the show to promote her Southern cookbook. What food did she bring for Artie? All right, neither of you got the answer. Cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Well, that's what
It's
you
the
should have
obvious
said.
answer.
On what late-night TV show did Howard's mom make a surprise appearance?
Baba Booey.
Gary.
The David Brenner Show.
Nightlife with David Brenner or David Brenner show is fine. Okay, here we go. What brand of motorcycle is Fred's favorite? Fred's favorite motorcycle? Go
I
ahead.
got to guess Harley. No, it's a Triumph.
What's your final answer?
Triumph.
Is correct for
Well,
25
wait a second.
points.
Again, if you're playing the game, the guy gives an answer that's
Well,
wrong, and then he gives
well-
another answer.
He gave
come
two
on, dude.
answers.
When I played, I lost the game
It's all
that
right.
way.
You know what? You're beating his ass. Just calm down.
Just saying.
The score is
Well, in
125
fairness,
to 50.
I
No,
said Harley
Him.
Day, and then I stopped.
he did stop himself,
Yeah,
but
Garrett.
nevertheless, I would give you
Come
the
on,
same
dude.
opportunity.
We'll talk about how insulted I am that you didn't know my birthday.
Name the publisher of the book Quivers of Life. Go ahead,
I
Mark.
got to guess Simon & Schuster.
That is
Baba
wrong.
Booey.
Reagan books.
Reagan books. The judges.
No,
I would say
way
It's
off.
Regan.
I'm going to
Books.
give it to you. HarperCollins is the pub. Is it HarperCollins?
Regan
It
Books.
is Regan Books.
But
Okay.
it's not Reagan, is it?
Judith Regan. Reagan, whatever.
Yeah, well, Ronald Reagan doesn't have a book company.
I'd give you
That's
that one
right.
if you said Reagan Books.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. On the first episode of the Channel 9 show, a Larry King quote was brought up as told by Playboy. Fill in the blank. Howard Stern is the blank for the ugly team. Howard Stern is... Go ahead.
Poster boy?
Nope. Quarterback was the answer we were looking for. Well, the score is 150 to 0.
Yeah, I'm guessing
You
now.
went
I'm just
all the way back to 0.
Well, I'm guessing. I'm trying.
I think it's time for Gabrielle over there to get nude.
How about a 200-point question?
200-point question? Forget about it.
It's like playing 500 rummy with a longshoreman.
Gabrielle, at this point, because you're nude behind the curtain, we are going to drop the curtain and take a look at your loveliness. How big are your breasts, by the way?
B cup.
A B cup. We're looking forward to it. How much do you weigh?
115.
115? How tall are you?
5'2".
All right, that sounds about right. Let's take a look and see how you're doing underneath there. And here comes the curtain. It's coming up instead of down. And whoa! Well, aren't you lovely? It's always weird when somebody's naked, isn't it?
Well, it's weirder when they have no hair.
Oh, you have no hair. That's right. No, I like that. Why do you shave all the hair off?
Just a preference.
I like it.
From here, it looks like hair. It's a shadow.
Yeah, there's
Right.
a shadow.
She's got like a 5 o'clock shadow, but not really. It's just dark down there,
It
but
looks
she's
like
got nothing.
she's got Nixon in a
Do you
leg
feel
lock.
funny standing there naked? I mean, you got a beautiful body.
A little funny.
A little bit funny.
It's a little
I don't
bit.
blame you.
Her crotch looks like Don Johnson in the 80s.
Thank you to Gabrielle and Mark for playing. Mark, it's not as easy as it looks, is it?
Well, like I said, you just got to be fast, but these questions are not that tough.
Well, for someone who says they're not that tough, you had 0.
Yeah,
points.
a
Well,
ballsy
like-
guy for losing 150 to nothing.
The first round
Well, at
was...
the end, yeah, I started guessing at the end.
I bet you there isn't a person who lost 150 to nothing on Beat the Booey.
No, there's not. That I can give away.
This guy's pretty pathetic at it.
And I'm saying how easy it is to beat him.
Yeah, Gary's quick, though. He really is.
Yeah.
Well, Gabrielle, I don't know
doesn't
what
look
to
it.
say. You're standing there naked, and I love it. I love it a lot. Artie, do you love it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more subjects to bring up to make this segment linger.
Yeah,
for
it
her
looks
to
good.
Stand
Right.
there.
You're listening to Booey 25 on Howard 101.
Mike, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yo, Howard, I was watching the show this week. I forget what day. Slime Time Live. And they asked this little kid in the front row, what's your name? The kid says, Jackson. So they ask him, how does your father punish you? He says, well, he makes me play the cello, and he makes me clean my room. Next thing you know, it's Gary. Gary comes walking out, and Jackson throws a bucket of green slime on his head.
They were on Slime Time?
Yeah.
You know, Baba Booey now is like the quite the television star.
Really?
He's on Hollywood Squares. He's on Nickelodeon. It's like, dude, what are you up to?
But they never said he was Baba Booey. He was just a father and his kid.
Someone told me you were on Nickelodeon.
You know, they have a show. We went down to Universal.
Yeah.
They have a show down there. So my kid got into the show. So then at one point when they...
Your kid got into the show, but you're on stage getting slimed.
Yeah, it was fun. They said, would you come and do it? And I said, fine. I mean, they didn't
Is there anything you won't do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
seriously.
look, this guy's been in a barrel being chased by a bull.
I mean, really.
It was harmless. I'll show it to you.
I know it's harmless. It's just like, dude, they're like all over the place.
Overexposure. Too much.
Yeah, it's not becoming.
I had no idea he was being slimed on Nickelodeon.
And you
Gary-
punish him by making him play the cello?
You know, believe it or not, this show has some value. I hope you got paid for it at least.
No, it was just like one of those...
Okay.
It wasn't like a setup thing.
All right. What do you mean it wasn't a setup
wasn't
thing?
like
You got slimed and no one told you?
No, it wasn't like I made an appointment to go down there and get slimed.
Yeah, but it is set up. Of course it's set up. What do you mean it wasn't set up? You mean your kid
they
slimes you?
No, they set it up like 2 minutes before it happened.
How about getting anal on me for us?
No, that's where I draw the line.
All right.
His gums and teeth are really big, and his breath smells oh so bad. If you tell him that the Mets fucking suck, the horse-tooth jackass gets really mad. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba 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 Booey. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba 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 Booey. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba 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 Booey. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba 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 Booey.
Booey 25 presents What Does Baba Booey Mean to Me?
Yo, this is Michael Rappaport, Baba Booey 25th anniversary. What does Baba Booey mean to you? Listen, Baba Booey, to me, what he means to me, he's an American icon. And he's so important to the show. He's so integral to the show. And I think he's iconic. So what he means to me, he brings me joy. He always brings me joy. I've always been Team Baba Booey. You know, in the old episodes when he used to get hit hard, I never liked it when he went below the belt. But he means a lot to me. He's a total part of Howard Stern's show from beginning to end, and, you know, I'm a big fan.
This is Booey 25 on Howard 101. See how one Baba blunder changed Stern show history.
I guess if you don't know who I am, I do look like a stalker.
Dummy.
Like Gary Puppet wants to tell me something.
August Fool, Gary.
Shut up, you piece of wood.
Boffy.
I look back on my life and I look back on my resume, and here's my crowning achievement.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
This is Booey 25, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the name that became a movement.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. And Baba Booey P.O. All weekend long on Howard 101.
Hello, hello. Baba Booey.
Baba Belly.
Cha-cha chunky.
Baba Flunky.
When up at work and you act like a jerk, that's a Booey. When you go to Iraq and may never come back, that's a Booey. Smells like death. Makes both mad during meetings. It's so foul, smells like Sal. Come on now. Brush those teeth, floss beneath. Won't you please, or at least change the seating? Catch a beating. When you're hit in the eye by girls' jizz on the fly, that's a Booey. When you think it's just fine to pronounce it, my kind, you're a schmuck. Stupid fuck. When you try to eat shrimp with the lips of a him, it gets gooey.
Baba Booey.
Susan me, but you see that's our friend Gary D. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Bugats. Lola Pets.
I was just reading in the newspaper that a group of kids are suing McDonald's for making them fat.
Right here in New York.
Yeah. Well, why do only fat people get to sue? I guess because they've been damaged. But how do you prove that McDonald's is the only thing that made you fat?
They said one of the kids who wrote a deposition or something said that he ate at McDonald's like 5 times a week. Well, there's the fault right there.
And he didn't know? His parents didn't know?
His parents feeding him at home sometimes.
Yeah, but you know those crazy lawsuits against McDonald's, like when the hot cup of coffee spills on you, you end up winning.
I guess this is what makes lawyers take the cases.
Oh, yeah. Lawyers are just sharks. They just run around looking to sue people for any. And you know the parents are the ones who don't. Like I was talking to Gary. I said, how often do you take your kid to McDonald's? Because his kids like McDonald's. I lucked out. My kids never liked McDonald's.
Is that right?
Yeah, they hate fast food. They're not like into it. But you know, okay, let me ask you this. Big Mac, fries, and chocolate shake. How many calories?
I would say probably 1,800.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 1,800 is right. I thought it was about 3,000. Yeah. How many calories in a supersized fries?
Oh, God, I don't know. 600?
610.
Oh, my God. Yeah, let's get
all
those.
All right, here's your typical breakfast. All right, filet of fish, because you always think you're saving calories there. How?
The filet of fish in a bun?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say maybe 800?
470.
Oh, see, I'm high.
Did they say how much the chicken is? Because when I go with my kids, I think I'm doing myself a favor. I'll get the chicken sandwich with nothing on it.
All right, McNuggets you want to know, or you want to know...
Just a grilled chicken sandwich.
Hold on.
And it's grilled chicken. They don't bread it or anything?
No, but
They don't list that here, so it probably doesn't shock anybody.
The thing with that is they load it with mayonnaise. If you get it without mayo, it's probably fine.
Yeah, the McNuggets, though, 9 pieces is 500 calories.
Yeah, I was reading that book, Fast Food Nation, that it has to do with what they boil it in. It's a special kind of oil that's even more fattening. It's the same stuff they do the fries in.
But if you're going to sue McDonald's, then you could sue Krispy Kreme and...
Oreos.
You could sue all food companies.
Why particularly McDonald's?
Yeah.
See, I think that those lawyers get in there and they just start telling the jury, McDonald's makes billions and billions of dollars, and
they
they're rich,
lure you in.
They lure you in.
So how often do you take your kids to McDonald's? Because they probably ask for it every day.
They ask for it almost every day. I would say, the maximum is once a week, but sometimes they won't go for like a whole month. But they want to go all the time, and you know what the lure is? It's the stupid toy.
Yeah.
They're always giving something away.
I don't know what they're giving away, but like they would usually hook up with like Harry Potter, and they might have like a Harry Potter toy, which is a piece of junk.
Yeah.
And the kids want to go for the toy so bad.
Oh, yeah, that's important to them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could say to the kids, no.
Right. Well, that's what your job is as a parent.
As I often do. I mean, the kids go, let's go to McDonald's today. And my wife or I will go, you know what? You guys just went yesterday. We're not going to go for it. It's junk food.
See, or you could take the opposite kind of approach, which we did, was like we never had a set meal time. Do you have a set meal time and everything?
Around.
Yeah, we never had like a dinner time. Whenever anyone got hungry, they went and ate. You do that
but
too?
But did you have family meals?
Yeah, we'd go out sometimes to dinner.
No, I meant just at home, on a regular basis. This is the time the family gets together and
once
bonds with each other.
We tried that on Sundays.
See,
but during the week, everyone was just eating, and it was cool. I mean, you'd meet up with someone in the kitchen, maybe, for a few minutes.
See, we do the family meal thing to a degree, and I sort of like that because when I was growing up, my mom and my brothers used to wheel the Zenith TV right up to the table. It was on like a little.
Me too.
It was on a stand. They wheel it right up to the table, plug it in the kitchen, and then we'd never talk to each other.
See, I always was disturbed by family meals because my mom and I would eat at 4 o'clock when I got home from school. I was hungry. And then we would wheel the TV, Mike Douglas, right up to the table and watch and eat.
See, that's when you know your family doesn't work.
Yeah, and then my dad would come home and we'd sit and watch him eat, and he'd yell at me if I asked him the simplest question like, "How are you?" He said, "Why are you putting me on? I know you don't care how I am."
That's a sure sign it's not working.
Yeah.
You know what freaks me out? Because I totally understand it now that I'm older and I work and I have kids. But there would be times when my father was at the table, and I swear, like once every other week, I caught him asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he would put his hand down and close his eyes for a couple of minutes.
Right.
I'd be like, "What's Dad can't even like stay awake to watch me eat?"
Yeah.
And now like I almost do that every night. I want to sleep at the table.
Yeah. Well, you're overworked, dude. I mean, come
Well,
on.
you have your household duties.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
Gary has the same trade. He can fall asleep anywhere.
Gary, you have your chores that you have to do at the house.
After you get off your real job.
Yeah, after you do this job, you got to go home to do chores. I mean,
Of course you're falling
You
asleep.
see, we have a different one. Like when I get, like I don't have to ever give my kids baths or anything like that. It's
Never.
Like, it's that's you know.
I wouldn't even know how to make a bath. Of course not. You're a man.
I never cook the meals for the kids. What do you?
Never.
All I'm doing is sitting here. You know, I have this big smile on my face. I'm thinking of all the crap I don't tell you guys.
Oh, I wish we knew that crap.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
What else are you doing?
You know, it's not what I'm doing. It's just like the sort of stuff like, all right, like okay, we're having work done on a house, right?
Right.
So we had to move all the crap off the first floor, the entire first floor, because
Okay.
the floors are getting done. So like the other night, I was so pissed off. I'm in bed. You know,
Right.
I'm in bed and I got the covers on and I'm like in bed watching TV. And my wife was like, you didn't move that, that, and that. And none of them were so heavy that she couldn't have moved them in the morning.
Right.
And I was like, all right, so. And she's like, well, you going to move them? So, like, I put my slippers on and I went down and I moved them.
You're a real dad. You got slippers.
I do. I do.
I threw my slippers at my wife.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to do. Take the slippers and chuck them at her head.
And you know what? I think I'm.
Did you ever realize that you're the one paying for the,
I
for
agree
the
with you.
renovation?
I have that argument in my head. I'm totally right. And then
You only have it in your head, though.
no. I could have that argument and deal with it for God knows how long, or I could walk down in 2 minutes and move the crap and just go back to
'cause
bed.
You're a beaten man.
I am a beaten man.
He is. He's
He
beaten.
gives up every time.
What are you afraid will happen if you say to your wife, listen, I'm not getting out of bed. Move it in the morning yourself.
And then she'll get mad at me.
Right. And what happens? Tell me what you're afraid of.
I'm not afraid of anything. It's just that then it'll turn into like a discussion that might turn into an argument.
yeah, see.
And then it's hard for me to get to sleep if we just argued. And
Right.
just,
So
and
how-
you know
you know
what?
what it is?
I'd just rather carry the crap away.
She's a better arguer than Gary.
Yeah, I was
think-
going to say, he's not going to win the discussion
She's
or the
smarter than
argument.
Gary.
But what could she say?
No, it's not that she's smarter.
What
She'll
could she say?
Like I'll say, why don't you move it? And then she'll give me the list of all the crap that she did. I had the floor guys here and I had the kitchen guys
Say,
here.
all you got to do is shut her up and say, I tell you what, when you start making some money around here,
Oh, I do that. That argument went out the window ages
Howard,
ago.
He's got to say there'd be no floor guy.
I say that.
I know. You know what I used to do? You can say, I'm canceling the floor. I'm not getting out of bed.
There
I'm
you
canceling.
go.
I don't
We
care about
obviously
the floor.
can't do this floor.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not going to happen. The floor is canceled. She'll move those boxes.
Yeah.
She'll also move you out of the house. But
Oh, my
You know what?
goodness.
But you see, like in every relationship, like I know for a fact, like with John and Susanna, I would say that Susanna's, at the end of the day, Susanna's probably a little bit more afraid of John. Do you know what I mean? Like if John
Right.
put his foot down, she's going to back down.
But dude, your wife.
How
I
did she
mean,
get so far in control?
I don't know.
What does she have? What are her bargaining chips? She doesn't have any job.
Her bargaining
Yeah,
chip is
where's
this.
her
You could
leverage?
get other chicks.
Here's the
What's her leverage?
I can tell you exactly what the leverage
Gary's
is.
insecure.
No, that's not. No,
Poke him.
that's not it. The bargaining chip is. So what am I going to do? Say then fine. If you don't like it, leave. And then if she
Let her leave.
if she leaves me, I'm screwed.
No, you're not.
The money on the house, the mortgage, I got nothing.
You see, you
I have to live in an orange peel.
I know where
have that
that's coming from.
He's afraid of
You
losing.
saw it happen with other people in
Yeah.
your life.
Right.
But it's true. I mean,
You ain't going to be with a hot plate in the basement.
no, I'm sort of maxed out to a degree.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Here's what happens. Here's what happens.
How am I going to run that house and then go live somewhere?
No, you're not going to run that house. They sell that house. And the
You
guy
downsize.
in your financial
Oh,
situation.
the guilt.
That's
The
right.
guilt of kicking my kids out of their own house.
You're not kicking them
Forget
out.
it.
And
They're
their
gonna be
school
halftime with
and
you.
everything else.
Nah, dude, the guilt of
Sell
kicking
the
my kids out
house.
of my house is just.
You're not kicking them out. It's called the reorganization of the marriage.
How do you explain to a 5-year-old that he has to move because Daddy left?
He'll understand later.
I don't have that kind
Say,
of time.
you know what? When your penis matures, you'll
He'll
get it.
understand later.
Just say, you know what? You say to your kid, you know what?
Mommy's a pain in
This
the
isn't
ass.
this isn't an end of the marriage. I mean, this is an end of the marriage, but it's not the end of our family.
Well,
Oh,
that's-
yes, it is.
No, we're reorganizing the family. You're going to spend half your time with me,
What if I get a
House, we're
corporate
losing
raider?
everything.
and I'll buy you a bunch of toys. It'll be fine. Don't worry
I'll
about it.
see you every weekend.
You'll have toys by me, toys by your mother.
All I have to do is buy him a giant stuffed Scooby-Doo, and it'll all be good.
Yeah.
So you're in jail. guy.
You know what?
Duh.
Don't listen to Howard's advice. He's wrong. The kids will see it as
please.
everything fell apart. And
You
they
want to know
lost.
something? Get out while you're ahead. We're working stiffs. We get a paycheck. All right? Some of us get more, some of us get less, but basically at the end of the day,
get work for somebody.
it's a paycheck. And if you get divorced, the law, because you didn't sign a prenup, is working like so unfair. There is no other business arrangement where you got to shell out 50% of your assets, your home, the whole deal. So what you got to do, and you got to think about it, you're in love now and everything's going to be great and all that, but every
At the
week.
beginning, you got to think this, right?
Yeah, that's right. There are accounts that you can, you know how Tony Soprano has a garbage pail? Yeah. All right, I wouldn't recommend that.
Because your wife could find it.
Because your wife could unlock it.
I was thinking about this the other night.
There are offshore accounts, like OJ, what?
Like a Swiss bank account.
That's right.
But
Cayman Islands.
But don't they seize
Cayman
them
Islands.
during a divorce?
No. No one knows.
How?
Don't let
How do
your
they
wife.
not know?
I'll tell you how they not know. First of all, you don't tell anyone.
Okay, fine.
Okay? It's a secret
And
between you and you.
Got it.
ever disclose your salary.
Right. And even with your salary, no one can account for what you spent on your house. No one can account exactly. So let's say, don't get crazy with it. Every week, let's say you make $100 a week. You put aside $20 every week in your special account.
There's no way for a lawyer to find out that you have an account
Not
somewhere.
if it's hidden.
See, I thought
Now,
they
let
could
me
find
ask
it
you
out.
one other thing,
Do you
because
put it in
I'm
your
looking
name?
at this, and they make it almost impossible for you not to take the deductions that you can get for being a married couple.
Right.
And that's why you put her name on the house, even though you're paying all the bills.
Oh, that's a stupid idea to put her name on the house.
Oh, well,
Did you?
Well, you did.
Oh, I thought you meant just her name only.
No. I'm saying having her name there at all is wrong.
Might as well put it in her
Yeah.
name, because if you get divorced, you still split all assets.
Right.
It's
You're
not
saying
hers.
Yeah, but
it's
then
hers.
I'll be fighting to get half of my house.
Yeah, so what?
But see, here's the bottom line. All jokes aside, like, it's not that bad. Like, I don't want to. It's not worth going through all that crap. I mean, we
Then
still get
you know
along
what?
pretty
Get your
well.
slippers on, get out of bed.
And I do.
And
That's
put
what
it
I
in
do.
the
Hey, Hal, let me ask Gary.
That's where I'm at.
When you get home from work, and answer honestly, you walk in the door. What's your chore?
You know what? I don't really have a chore now. I usually go right up to the computer. It actually changed a little bit. The kids are older. Jackson's sitting at the table doing his homework. Lucas is watching, SpongeBob. So they're like doing their own thing. I go upstairs. I work on the computer for a while. It's actually not as
And
crazy.
then when does Mary say, all right, you got to do
Oh,
something?
let's get to chores.
Dinner time.
Yeah, maybe dinner time. Here's a funny thing, right? This is another funny thing. My wife goes to me.
Can you go out, or do you have to be home physically?
I gotta be home.
You have to be home in case there's emergency needs for
As
you.
opposed to what? You mean like, can I go home and go right out?
Let's say you come home and you want to just go out
go
for
to
a
the
run.
gym?
You go to the gym.
No, I got to announce that like the day before.
Right.
Or there's no such thing as meeting the guys just spontaneously after work.
Once in a while, but not much.
Right. You're a family man.
Yeah, no, listen, I travel a lot on the weekends,
Right.
so I could at least be home during
You're
the
traveling
weekend.
working, aren't you?
No, I got you, but I'm talking about me.
He's having fun.
No, I'm talking about me talking like I want. If I'm going to be like I'm going to Vegas this whole weekend.
Right.
So I don't want to take 3 nights out and not see. If I don't come home, I don't see the kids at all. They go to bed at 9. I get
And
up
the
in morning.
problem is?
I'd like to see them.
Oh,
I'd like to see them.
you're horrible, Howard.
I gotta help Jackson. I gotta help Jackson with his cello lesson.
It's fun watching my face get blown up and people shoot through my teeth. That's a day at the races for
Do
me.
you know what Daddy has to do to get those floors done?
But you know what? It's some guys can pull off that control thing. I had a buddy years ago, a Casanova, ladies' man, like crazy.
Right.
His girlfriend would ask him to do something, like pick her up at the train station, and he'd be with us. He would just never go. He wouldn't go get her.
Right.
And we go, don't you have to pick Jen up? And he'd go, no, she's in girlfriend training.
Let me tell you something.
He called it girlfriend training. Like, you train a dog.
I
You're
got
like,
a
no,
buddy.
do something for her now. She'll want everything.
But he would
And
say yes and then not show
he'd
up.
say
Hey.
yes and then not show up.
I got a buddy. His girlfriend's been hassling him. There's trouble in the relationship, this and that and the other thing, because he doesn't listen to anything she says. Yeah. So she booked an appointment with a marriage therapist, even though they're not married.
Oh, my goodness.
So guess what? She shows up to the marriage therapist. He never showed up. He just didn't go.
Oh, she sat there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Some guys can pull it off.
Are they still together?
Sure. She isn't going anywhere. What's she got?
But
Who's she got? The Bachelor waiting in the wings? Aaron Berge?
See, that's what Gary didn't do at the beginning. You didn't set up things.
He said it was perfect in the
No,
beginning.
she set up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Girlfriend training could become wife training.
But you do at the beginning of your marriage.
See, John's got it down. He doesn't hire anyone. He just doesn't do anything.
But he's got her. She's a
I
beaten
think
woman. Like I'm a beaten man.
knows
Beaten?
She
it's
is
her
totally
job in the end.
Yeah, she's like the burqa.
Yeah.
John's
Listen,
like got the
I'm
chair
making
with the whip.
I'm making the money.
Right.
So she's got to take care of the things that I don't want to be taken care of, like
Right.
like cooking.
I'm with you.
I thought of you so much when I was laying in bed and my wife said, go move that stuff. I'm just thinking of you
What
when you
would
were married.
John do?
No, what would Howard have
Howard
done?
did- Oh,
I'll tell you what Howard would have done, seriously, and then didn't involve
You
me.
would have called the guy to come move it.
No, I just would have said, I'm not doing it. She wouldn't. No one would ask me even. They know I wouldn't do it.
But there had to be a first time or a second time that you had to say, I'm not doing that.
Everyone just knew. I just didn't do stuff.
But I'm saying you had to establish that at some point.
Yeah, I set myself up like a little prince.
Like even though I think about,
like I would piss and moan about my job. I would scream about work. You got to keep constantly saying you're miserable. If your wife thinks you're happy, it's over.
See, I do that too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this trip to Vegas this weekend is gonna suck.
Exactly. Don't act like it's good.
I got to work Friday night. I got to work at a club. Saturday night I got to do the hockey.
You got to
thing.
moan and piss and talk about how your body aches from work.
Saturday,
we don't do anything physical.
Flying all day hurts.
See, Howard, you know what's funny? I just had this debate because, I got home from a weekend in Chicago. My wife has a show now that she does.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I was working too. I go, listen. No, I was working. I flew across the country. I did 5 shows.
Yeah.
You're in the city. Don't give me you were working. Now cook.
Yeah, you got to have no pressure. It's a big deal. You got to take care of some kids. If you screw that up, does anybody take it out on you? No.
So you take the argument away right away.
Yeah, you have to do it in the beginning. Else she's gonna, it's gonna be like we're equal.
That's how I handle things.
I'll tell you something.
John is Puerto Rican.
Now,
your wife's convinced you that you're not working.
Yeah.
She thinks you're out here having a party.
I used to work construction with this guy. He was the foreman of the job. This guy, Rocky, he was the other, he's across the pond. He was, right off the boat. His wife, he worked 19 straight hours. He came home and his wife was giving him crap, and she said to go get bread. He left. He went to Italy for 6 months. And the judge made him come back. And he came back. He went into the court with a loaf of bread. He said, I went to get bread.
My kind of man.
He went to Italy for 6 months.
Yeah.
See, Howard, Artie's going to be just like Gary, I'm telling you.
Mike, you're on the air.
Yeah, Howard, listen. Gary, you're doing the right thing, man. I went through the whole thing. I was submissive to my wife, and I didn't stand up to her. And then one day I started standing up and saying, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. And you know what? I got thrown out of my house. She took everything. I run a business. She took the business. It's in her name now.
Oh, my God.
I came back with my tail between my legs, and I'm living there now, but I am like a whip-beaten man.
Can I tell you something, though, Mike?
I have no money. She controls all. I run a business that she takes all the money and does whatever she wants with it and everything. And
How does that happen?
You have to ask
I'm
her
a
for
loser.
permission?
You got a game for me to play so I can get some money so I don't have to give it to my wife?
You know what? I'll give you the money. You'll end up giving it to your wife anyway. It's a big waste of time.
No.
Hey, Steve, you're on the air.
Steve?
Yeah.
You got Jerry.
Okay, Jerry, you're on the air.
Hey, Howard. Gary, you're nuts. Don't listen to that other guy. What does Mary do?
Nothing.
She's Mrs. Mary.
Well, right now she's a general contractor, but usually she raises the kids.
You know what? That's so wrong. You're busting your hump, and she's. It's wrong.
I told him it was a mistake
It's
when he
not
got
as
married.
bad as it sounds.
Oh, come
It's
on.
bad.
It's just you guys make it sound bad.
Gary just thinks he's in a position not to fight back, and he just should.
You know what it is?
Screw
What is
it.
he fighting for?
Because he doesn't want to be
Your
doing
life
chores.
shouldn't be fighting all the time.
He's miserable.
Gary thinks he's doing the honorable thing, like he's like every other man. Like
No, with the coin he's bringing in, and all the extra stuff that he's bringing in, there's no way that he should be doing everything else.
Of course not. What kind of guy comes home from the hours this guy puts in and gives up his weekends to support his wife, and then he's busy doing chores? Chores? Come here. I'm going to show you the chores. Where do you get the balls to say something to me?
You get your balls
Yeah,
big
really.
enough.
Where do you get your balls big enough for that?
I don't care if she can suck the chrome off of a trailer hitch.
She doesn't even do that.
Oh man.
He hasn't answered. When's the last time you got laid? Be
Guys,
honest.
Start hiding
last
the
Saturday
money.
night.
Last Saturday night.
Yeah, I got her drunk.
This past Saturday night?
You have to get her drunk.
I took her to a birthday party. Got her loaded.
Well, look at Gary. A woman would have to be drunk. All right, that you can't blame her.
Stop.
But how
But the last
John
time,
told me-
willingly.
No. I mean, our life is actually pretty decent. But John just told me he hasn't gotten laid since October 4th, and he might get laid tonight because it's his wife's birthday.
Right.
That's a long time. Jesus.
At least he's not doing chores.
That's 6 weeks.
But John should go home and take a nap so he can perform.
No, but Howard.
But John, and also John, doesn't tell you. John goes home,
Right.
and his deal is he takes a nap, and then he gets up, and then he has to deal with the kids. That's he doesn't tell
Yeah,
you
but I
that.
do because I want it, not because
No.
I'm told to.
You told me that you have to.
No, I don't have to.
Yes, you do. You told me that if you're going to go home and take a nap, that's a trade-off. We've had that discussion.
I don't never have to do anything.
That's not true. You've even.
I swear to God, I don't have to.
I believe you. Gary, look at him. He's
Nobody
a
told
King
me.
Tut over there.
Listen, if I'm going to take
what
a
was that
nap.
story with Gary where his wife goes to take out the garbage? It's the least she could do.
Yeah. After he comes home from a hard day's work.
It's the least she could do.
Yeah. John's busy yelling, now cook.
Cooley, you're on the air.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, Howard? Good morning, everybody.
That might be a good
listen,
name.
I got to say a couple of things to you really quick. I think you're a great guy. I think you're a big part of the show. But you have to realize, in the beginning of a relationship, what happens is you did a lot of things. You said, you know what? I'll do it. No big deal. No big deal. Now it's all coming back, and it's backfiring on you. I think the relationship jumped the shark a while ago, because for you, before to say to yourself, you know what? If I leave, I'm screwed. That means you're already having thoughts of saying, you know what? I'd rather be single again.
Right.
It's a loser mentality, too, when you say, if I leave, I'm screwed.
Right. Just to leave and then work it out. Have a lawyer do it.
Because all your power's gone.
Well, yeah, you'll just
But I don't. Here's
work
the thing.
a little harder.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. You guys want me to leave?
I don't want you to leave.
No, Penis wants to leave.
I don't want
No,
to
but
leave.
you're thinking
I just
about
want
it, Gary.
I want my wife to be more appreciative, but I don't want to leave. It's not horrible or anything.
Get her in here. If you can figure out how to get her in here, I'll talk to her. Right here on the air. I'll take care of her. Because I'll tell her how appreciative she should be.
If she can't figure that out,
I remember when she was
you're
single.
telling her is going to make a difference?
But Howard,
She doesn't
she's
need-
got a slave. Gary's willing to do it, so she might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, she takes advantage. You got to
In the
put your
beginning,
foot down.
it was him giving dedication. He was like, you know, I love this woman, I'll do it. Now all of a sudden he's waking up saying, why am I stepping on underwear on the carpet? It's supposed to be picked up.
You know what the ironic thing about this is, Howard? We're supposed to play Stump the Buoy now.
Yeah.
The guy that I'm playing against.
Yeah.
I met my wife at his party.
Wow. Thanks.
Hey, Howard.
You better beat him.
Wow.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
You got any Thanksgiving special?
No.
What is
Hey, Howard,
wrong with people
the
always
best was-
asking?
The best was on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, Gary's over at my house with the kids, and Gary's chasing the kids around like crazy, and Mary's going, it's his turn, it's his day.
All right, already. How many times are you going to tell that story? That story was 5 years ago.
That's your Saturday. You have 2 days.
That was a Saturday. Not every Saturday.
Well, those other days you don't
There's some
go
days,
out.
like for instance, this Saturday I'll be in Las Vegas.
No man has the patience for that. No man has the patience for that.
Funny watching him chasing kids.
Stop it, John. John, you're so cruel.
That's terrible.
Me and Mary were standing by the beach looking at the water, drinking beer. And Gary would run by every now and then.
Oh, my
I
God.
wish I could dispute that. I wish I could.
Like zoom.
You and Mary are sitting there drinking beer.
We're drinking, getting drunk. Gary's running around.
Was she laughing?
And she was just like, I don't care. Whatever he does.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Gary. Oh, dear.
John, isn't this romantic?
How nice. What a nice day.
What a nice day. I'm drinking beer. I'm relaxing.
I'm so glad we came.
Lucas! Lucas!
You know what? Don't go to John's anymore. Let him see what goes on.
Please, John,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
All right.
She's been telling that story for years.
Oh, I know. Oh,
And it gets better every time he
I wish John could move into your house and report to me everything that goes on.
he does a pretty good job not living there.
Jackson Delabate, you're on the air. That's Gary's son. Hi.
Daddy,
Yes.
Daddy Booey.
Yes.
I just want to tell you, we want you to leave. We don't want you at home anymore.
All right, there it is. You have permission to go. All right, Gary, you work it all out. I'm sure it'll be fine. And we're going to take a break, unfortunately. I'm enjoying this, but I have to take a break.
You're enjoying Gary's nightmare.
Gary, clean the sand at John's Beach.
If he doesn't make this, it'll be 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes.
He's playing it to go left, and it is not. Straight back.
And like I said, the first part of this golf course, 1 through 6.
Previously on The Late Show with David Letterman.
David, there is a phone, yes.
Look at that. We've been on the show. We're doing this for like 20 years. The phone's never rung. Okay. Should I just go ahead and answer it? Yeah. Okay. Hello?
105.9 plays today's best music.
I'm sorry, this is, you're not the 100th call.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
I had to answer it.
Booey 25 continues next on Howard 101. See how one Gary goof-up changed prank call history.
Brian in Toronto.
Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Line 2.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Am I through to Prince Charles?
Yes.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
This is Booey 25, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the name that became a movement.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey,
and Baba Booey P.O. All weekend long on Howard 101.
But what about, have you been watching all talk shows differently? I mean, I'm guessing now that once this becomes part of your life, you don't just watch them as entertainment, you study them a little bit.
Yeah,
even like the daytime shows.
I'm going to steal stuff from Regis? Sure. I'm going to, like, whatever. I mean, he gets excited about everything, Regis.
That's his secret. He gets,
We went to a big party last night. Everybody was there. I want to name drop. Valerie Harper was there. Alan Alda said hi to From Howard Stern, Baba Booey was there.
You gotta love Baba Booey.
Baba Booey was there. I don't know. He's from Howard Stern.
Baba Booey.
That's my nickname.
Hey, by the way, bummer. And like the TV guys are like, gee, we have tape of Gary fell asleep in his office. I said, give me that tape, guy.
They're fighting back there?
Cronin, I tried his home number and cell number, and both were messages.
What even's
Really?
amazing is Gary was sleeping during the Bang My Dad segment. How do you sleep through that? There's a lot of segments I'll admit you could sleep through. Not Bang My Dad. He was supposed to be a judge, too. More discussion on this, and I look forward to it on the wrap-up show today. So Sal and Richard were all charged up. I never saw them work so late. After Gary fell asleep on the air and Scott DePace exposed Gary falling asleep on the job, and we found out that Gary fell asleep because he ate all the cookies. He ate like 7 or 8 black and white cookies.
Yeah.
So Sal started writing, of course, song parodies.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, oh, Baba Baba Booey.
And then, of course, they started coming up with alarm clocks to wake up Gary.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
And then they went on the street and asked people what they thought of Gary falling asleep.
What do you think of the disaster?
Who?
What do I think of it? Twin Towers?
No. Gary Dell'Abate fell asleep on the Howard Stern show.
I think he's a jerk. I think he should be fired.
Can you believe that he ate 8 black and white cookies in one sitting? That's why he fell asleep.
Is that a valid excuse to you?
No, that is a dumb excuse.
If one of your employees found a coworker sleeping, would you appreciate it if he told you if you were the boss?
Absolutely. I was a boss for 12 years.
Now, since you were a boss, what would you have done if you would have caught a coworker sleeping?
Fired him.
Yep, right out the window. Little Mikey got in on it. He's usually running song parodies about you, Robin, but he switched over to Gary.
Wow,
and
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
In the morning, early morning, a monkey sleeps at work. He eats black and white cookies, then falls asleep because his tummy hurts.
A lot of people were weighing in on the controversy on the street.
So what do you guys think of the disaster?
What disaster?
The BP oil thing?
No. Gary Dell'Abate fell asleep on the job working for Howard Stern.
Oh man.
Fire him! Fire him right now!
Get this
You heard me,
motherfucker
Howard? You heard me? Fire his ass!
Get out of here.
The show is not that boring, man.
His excuse was that he ate 8 black and white cookies.
The Jewish cookies? That's what he's talking about?
Are those Jewish cookies, black and white
Black
cookies?
and white cookies are Jewish?
I didn't know that.
But how could you consume 8 at one time? Those are big-ass cookies. You must have a big-ass mouth.
Well, there you go. Everyone is upset that he ate Jewish cookies and that he's falling asleep. And all the song parodies came rolling in.
Wake up, Baba Booey, wake up.
And Gary continues to be mad at Scott DePace.
Is that right?
Yeah. Scott DePace was on the wrap-up show saying that I should be to blame. And you know what? I spoke to Gary over the weekend. Gary was really pissed about it and upset. And I just said to him, Gary, I do take responsibility in this because the guys came to me. He goes, yeah, but it was during the show. I know you. You're like, you get your. I go, no, I take responsibility. The guys came to me. They said the piece of tape. They said it was controversial because it's from your studio, and evidently there's a.
They told you this whole thing that it was something they weren't supposed to necessarily show you.
Right.
My point is, it should have never gotten to you. In other words, they should have said, "Hey, we promised Gary we wouldn't do this," and you're incorrigible. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, during the show, I am weak. I mean, don't come to me in the middle of a... That's what they do, Doug, that mustache, he's like, I got something great for you. I don't know if we should play it or not. And I heard great tape. Gary sleeping during the show. Lay it on me, and I accept my responsibility in this. I did it. But Scott
But you
DePace,
had never made a pact.
No, I never made a pact with anybody. I didn't even know this camera existed. But I'll tell you what. I guess I thought about it, and I thought Gary wouldn't mind. But Scott DePace can never. Gary's right about him. Like, just, man up and accept responsibility. He's throwing everyone under the bus on the wrap-up show. It's not my fault. It's this one's fault. It's that one's fault. He's just. He even started blaming John Hine.
How did John get into it?
Listen to Scott blaming. You're not a real man. I thought you were, but you're not. You're kind of a creep.
I'm a total man.
A
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're kind of a creep. Listen to him throw John Hine under the bus on the wrap-up show.
If anybody has a camera on them for 6 hours a day, they may do something that somebody can find something, especially here. But so I always felt like, okay, the camera's on. I'm doing them the favor because they need the footage for the TV show. But I know they have my back. I know they.
And
Wait.
it was too funny. I'm sorry. We, the whole control room, including John Hine.
I'm not in your control room.
You came back. You watched the tape. You laughed your ass off.
I saw it. I laughed, and I said,
"Gary's your great friend." If he were a great friend, you could have said,
"Don't
to me,
deflect on me." I said that's a tough decision for you guys to make.
Oh, so
quote.
So why would it be a tough decision then? If it's so clear.
But why are you throwing this on a guy who has... Hold on, let me finish the sentence. Why are you throwing this on a guy who has absolutely no say in the decision?
Because he's such a good friend of yours. But you would think he would say, don't do that to Gary.
And you wouldn't have listened.
See what I mean? What about you? I mean, like, you threw
I stand by everything I just said.
But why bring up John Hine? He didn't make the decision.
I bring
You're
up
such
everyone.
A Gary called me over the weekend to tell me how pissed off he was at you, and he just wanted to, air it out with me. And I said, Gary... See, this is the man I am. I said, Gary, I could sit here and blame Scott and Doug, but honestly, it's my fault because the guys did come to me. They laid it out, and I immediately accepted the tape and played it on the air.
Exactly. I'll take my part of the blame.
That's why you're a pussy.
But everyone else is...
No, you don't take that part of the blame. Here he is saying he's mad at... Scott can't just say, hey,
it was
I'm to blame.
Goodstein's decision to do this thing in the first place.
Why are you
I was in the
such a
middle of
weasel?
directing a segment.
Why are you a weasel?
Goodstein sees it happening.
Listen to him.
He puts a tape in. He rolls tape. Everybody in the control room is going crazy that Gary's sleeping. I'm trying to direct the segment.
Listen to this. Here he is. He's mad at Howard. Instead of just taking his own responsibility. I didn't sit and tell Gary I'm mad at you or mad at Doug or mad. I took responsibility.
I'm a little bit mad at Howard. Howard knew that the tape was
cracked
there.
under pressure.
How we got it. He could have said, you know what? I'm not, just like in a good court case, a judge will say that's inadmissible evidence. We're not using that.
Scott, how long have you directed the show?
16 years now.
Do you think that Howard would refuse to play a tape like that?
No, but don't also at the same time.
Don't offer heroin to a heroin addict.
That's right. You know it's going to get played.
But if there's one thing I've learned in 16 years, if I have a tape that's that good, I got to bring it to you.
That's right. So I took my responsibility. Take
All
yours.
right.
Stop throwing everyone under the bus.
Well, this show
You're
that
such a
you've
pussy.
created is responsible then
All
because
right.
you
I'm to blame
corrupted
then.
me.
Somebody else besides him is responsible.
Gary, you are so right about Scott. You're
Can you do me a favor and play the second clip where he explains that he wouldn't have done it if he knew he was going to get for it?
I didn't. You know what? No, I won't play that because I don't even understand why you're so bummed out about that.
Well, it's so insulting. Instead of saying, hey, I'm sorry I did it, he goes, instead of saying, I'm sorry I would have done it if I knew it hurt your feelings, he goes, I'm sorry I would have done this if I knew I was going to get all this blame for it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you're still angry with him, right?
I really am. I spent a lot of time with, like the more I get to know him, like, okay, I don't agree with his politics, and he can be selfish and stuff. I'm like, Scott's a good guy, but, and I'm sort of running out of buts.
Well, you know what, man?
I think you just, the bad of you is sort of starting to outweigh the good of you in my eyes.
Listen, I totally admit I betrayed you, but at the same point,
you're already talking.
No, bullcrap. Because this is another thing. You had plenty of times where you defended Jason when Jason was giving my work ethic a hard time. Just last week when I left work early. No, listen to me. I was talking.
You can't be trusted. You are
fine.
A lying cheat. You can't be trusted.
Gary, like you're the first person. Like you're the first person we've done. how many hidden cameras?
I agree with you or not has nothing to do with the fact that you are not a man of your word. You can't be trusted. End of sentence. If our politics disagree, if I defend Jason over you, that's opinion. You're just an out-and-out fucking untrustworthy liar.
Same thing with Goodstein. He knew we had the prior. It was not Scott. Listen to me. It wasn't Scott and Gary having a mess.
You know why you get into trouble?
No, listen to me.
You know why you get into trouble? Because you always you're doing so beautifully. You go, I accept my responsibility in this. And then you go, but. And then
fine. I want to explain some things.
Why?
This
Why
was a
bother?
Howard TV promise. Listen to me.
I know what I did. I'm in on this.
Good.
You are.
Now it's my turn. It was a Howard TV promise to Gary. It wasn't a Scott promise to Gary. And Doug knew about that promise. Doug knew about that promise, and he was
why are you throwing Doug?
Wait a minute.
We're talking about you.
This was Doug's decision, and suddenly Gary yelled to me.
We're talking about you.
He's wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm always right. Remember?
I want to have to take your side, but I mean, just apologize. I said I'm sorry. Like
Goodstein, shut up, dude. You sat there and let me fall into the bus for this one.
I did.
Bull crap.
What is it, Gary?
See, this is where Scott's way off and where he's pissing me off, and this is where he really lacks any integrity whatsoever. We sat down in the control room when we got here, and he said, listen, you know that thing I had at K-Rock where when you touch the camera, your camera goes on? We can't get that working here. Can I keep the camera on you all the time? And I go, I don't know, Scott. I don't like the idea of that. He goes, I promise you, we will never use anything. That's Scott and I looking face to face, eye to eye.
Understood.
And you're creepy low
arguing
but
with Gary.
Doug knew that existed as well.
Forget Doug. Take Doug out of the equation. What do you want to say to Gary?
I'm sorry.
I actually care anymore.
Good.
I actually care. Because you know what?
How many times have we
he's
done...
insincere and he doesn't mean it.
Because you have to be coached.
You had a browbeat at him to say it. He has no feelings. He's inhuman.
How many times have we done hidden cameras on the show here? Why all those people? It's okay.
Listen.
That's
betraying
trust.
Why are you attacking him? He's telling you
I'm not attacking him.
You are.
You are.
I am not. How am I attacking you?
By telling me why I'm for being mad at you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Listen.
I didn't know that I just did that, but
you
fine.
Did. Now listen to me.
You guys are unbelievable.
Don't know how to
You're unbelievable. You're really unbelievable.
I apologized to you last week.
You don't mean
and
it.
Let's put it to bed. But you got to keep bringing it up.
I didn't bring it up today.
Yeah, sure you did.
No, I didn't.
Brian Phelan told me right away that you.
Brian Phelan said, "Should I put the camera on?"
It was a
don't
joke.
turn on the fucking camera. No, it was not a joke.
Well, to me, he said it, and I laughed.
Well, you weren't here,
go ask
asshole,
him.
so you don't know. It wasn't a joke.
And then he came to you and asked you, and you said Scott DePace is an asshole.
Berating Gary.
All right.
He was betrayed by you.
You look me in the eye and out lied, and you can't live up to it. You can't man up to it or own up to it.
I said I did.
No, you
1,000 times. I said I did betray you.
But 2 minutes ago, you said it was between him and Doug. You had nothing to do with it.
Then it's Howard's fault.
Right.
Robin, what world are these people living in?
The world that you created.
This is crazy. I said I betrayed you 100 times. I said I betrayed you.
But
others betrayed you too.
It's Howard's fault. But it's Howard's fault. It's Doug's fault.
End of sentence. Now I'd like to start a new sentence.
No.
And that
don't
sentence.
start it.
Yeah, why not?
Save yourself.
And that sentence says that he's guilty and Doug's guilty as well.
Okay. Why
He
can't
says,
you?
don't just
And
shoot
John
me,
Hine,
shoot them.
Will
You know what?
Murray,
If I had to go
the
to
whole
war, if I had to go to
control
war
room.
with someone, you're the last guy I'd take
Will
with me.
Murray now is in it.
Will Murray watched the tape. Both Will and
do you believe this?
I don't
they
believe
both
it.
watched
Would
the
you want to
tape.
be in a foxhole with this piece?
Yeah, I
Never.
defend you.
Never go in the foxhole with me.
You're all about Scott DePace is all about Scott DePace and no one else.
All right. Thank you.
And that's even in his family life and his kids.
Oh, you
him.
don't know anything about my
I know
family
exactly.
life.
You want to get to the doctor.
Oh, please.
Oh, please, what?
I took
You're
my
one of
kids
the most
to,
selfish people
this
I've
is what
ever
I
met
did
in my
this
life.
past week. I had 2 baseball games I had to coach.
Yeah,
I took my
because that's
son
good
to
for
a
you.
Yankee
You enjoy
game.
that. That's fun for you.
How is coaching my kid fun for me?
Well, why would you do it then?
Because I want to see him get better, and I'm a father. That's why.
I think you want your kid to be better, so he makes you proud. It's about you. You're selfish.
yeah. I think I'm going to become famous from Kyle being a pro baseball
And I'm sure I'm not
player.
the first person in your life who's told you you're selfish.
Dave wants to get in on this.
Actually,
Dave from Atlanta, Georgia has a point.
might
Go
be,
ahead,
Gary.
Dave.
Hey, good morning, Howard. If you
won't be
could
the
throw
last.
two morons up for a second, let me ask you this. How could it possibly be your responsibility when the eighth is the one that fell asleep in the first place?
You say Gary deserves blame because he fell asleep.
I think we're losing focus here.
Hold on a second. Howard.
Scott likes that argument too.
Scott likes your logic, Dave.
Howard, what was the... Hold on a second. I want you to tell Scott, what was the real point of my phone call yesterday?
What was the real point of it?
What was the first thing I said to you?
That you were upset.
No. That was the second thing I said
You were
to you.
sorry for sleeping?
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I do remember.
What was it?
He called to, apologized to say, he really felt awful that he fell asleep at work. He goes, that's not me. I'm telling you, I don't do that ever.
I was embarrassed, and I felt bad, and I wanted him to know that I was sorry it happened, and that's not what my work ethic is about. I just felt bad about it.
Yeah,
Right.
so why be mad at me then?
You didn't blame anybody else? You didn't put anybody else's name in there?
No, I didn't. I said I'm mad about the way it all went down, but at the end of the day, I'm the one who fell asleep. I'm embarrassed by it. I feel bad about it.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's how you take blame, douchebag.
Okay. All right, let me try it one more time.
Don't.
I'm looking. I apologize to you off air in his office.
I know
last week.
you did, and then you went right into the wrap-up show and said why it's everyone else's fault.
Dude, it's not a wrap-up show. You guys want me to come in there and just be like, I'm sorry. No, that's boring.
Oh, so you're putting on a show for us now?
Can you ever trust Scott again?
No.
With anything?
No. I thought about it.
How can I trust you? The prior week.
Look at you
Listen to
attacking
this.
him again.
Well, no, because the prior week, I left work early, two hours early, because to catch a plane to go on a trip. All right, it was pre-approved by Doug or approved by Doug, and Gary and Jason, the spies that they did. They went back, they found out that I wasn't here, and then they went and tried to tell on me to you.
That's just not true.
Yeah, it totally is true.
Here's what happened.
I've got multiple.
Hold on a second. Calm down. Jason came to me, and he said, Scott DePace isn't there. When I asked everybody where he was, everybody was acting weird. So I went back, and Doug goes, oh, he left early to go on vacation. Done. Over. Didn't come to you. No big deal.
About it.
Never went any further than that.
I never heard
What
I
bull crap?
heard all about it.
But what, did I tell Howard?
No. That's the only part I don't know.
Because I investigated something that could have been funny for the air, found there was nothing there, and dropped it.
Why did you bring it up twice on the show last?
Because you threw me under the bus, douche.
Again, because you thought it would get me in trouble somehow.
You played a tape of me sleeping and laughed your ass off. Of course I'm going to pull out a weapon I have. How dumb are you?
I'm not bald.
You're dumb.
Going bald.
Danny, you're on the air in Philly.
Yes, Howard. How you doing?
All right.
Yeah, I was curious. Do you think Gary ever fell asleep? I got 2 points. Do you think Gary ever fell asleep in a Mets game opposed to working for the greatest radio personality of all time?
Listen, Gary's got a good track record with me. He hasn't fallen asleep.
They've had a camera on him. He hasn't fallen asleep.
Yeah, believe me, they'd be whipping that out right now if he had.
We've never witnessed that before.
Right.
He might have been hibernating from eating all them cookies. Another thing, Howard, I think he was asleep when I was up there, April 14th. He gave me a tour. He signed a baseball with his name, and he spelled his first name wrong. He left the R out of Gary. What's that spell?
Gay Delabate.
Yeah, he's got Baba, underneath it Booey, and underneath it elaborate cursive G. It goes from the A up to the R, but no crossover, to the R. It goes straight down to the
So
Y.
it says Gay Delabate. Wow.
Baba Booey Gay.
Baba Booey Gay. Well, you boys, listen, Scott, you don't come off well on this. You don't know
in
how
your
to
opinion.
I don't think you come off well every time you take a microphone.
Boy, you
really do. Every time you grab the microphone, you.
Oh, there's Gary sleeping in the office.
Oh, jeez.
Sal's got the Gary mask on. There he is.
What's at the bottom? Oh, I see. He put my beard on the mask.
Oh, okay. I wondered what that was, too.
That's funny. All right, guys.
Next time I have the tape, I'm not giving it to you. I'm sorry.
Well, there is going to be no tape because you're going to somehow figure out how to make the camera work correctly.
Yeah, I'm working.
Your job, it's called. Seriously, figure it out.
Tom, go ahead in Detroit.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Yeah, I just want to tell Gary, man. I love Gary, but he's being such a little about this. It's not like you're going to fire him or anything, right?
Right.
No, but it's something that I'm embarrassed about. It's a trust. Listen, I said to the guy, I'll do you a favor if you. And then he bent me over the desk and pulled my pants down.
That's gay.
That's romantic.
That's Scott.
Wow. I didn't know I did that.
He iron sheiked you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's it. He humbled me.
All right.
And I would like to also point out that a lot of other people did that to you, too.
Again.
Well, again.
Oh, my God.
I'm not taking this by myself.
Dude,
no way.
Dude, You have your own thing to work out with Gary. Stop being a baby every minute and saying Howard did it.
I'm not
going to
take the full thing. No way.
You're not being asked to take the full thing.
You really aren't.
I'm taking my part of it.
But you haven't.
You're not.
Scott.
Yeah, I am.
You're throwing everybody under the bus.
I don't care.
But let me tell Scott why Gary has the particular problem with him. He sat with you. He made the deal with
when
you.
he sat with me, it wasn't Scott DePace. It was a representative of Howard TV.
If five guys get
go
together,
run an oil company. That's what that sounded like.
If 5 guys get together and decide to rape a woman, and you go up before the judge, and the judge says to you, "You raped a woman," what are you going to go? Yeah, but they did it too. It wasn't my idea. No, you raped a woman, and you have to go deal with the consequences. You don't sit there and go, but those 4 guys did it.
And if you
But in a public forum like this, I'm not going to be the only one that takes the
You
rap.
weren't the only one.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
am.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
You're the only one crying and blaming everyone else. That's
Doug
why we're
sat there
standing
like
here.
a fish and just sat there and let me get
That's
beat.
right.
Bull
Learn
crap.
from that fish.
Yeah, well.
Sometimes
I'm
being
not
the
a
fish, he sat there and he said, "I'm wrong. I did the
No,
wrong
he
thing."
didn't. He didn't
Stop.
say anything. He sat there and just let me get beaten.
You don't shut up.
Yeah, well, that's me.
Well, he was
Sorry.
attacking only you at that point. I would have jumped in, but he was.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. That if he's attacking just me and you made the decision to produce a tape, then you should have jumped in the middle of it.
I had a nice conversation with Gary, very sincere, and I apologize, Scott.
And so did I. All right, Doug. You know what? Well,
I'm not trying to screw you up, but dude,
he's a fish. He's a spineless fish.
Dude,
he puts every.
We know we did wrong. We admitted it. You know.
I admit I did wrong in this. I'm part of it.
It's such a simple thing, Scott. I don't know why this is good. It's great radio, but
I didn't sit and badmouth you or Doug. I took full responsibility.
You know what would be equivalent is when Gary said something to you, you said, "Hey, they brought me the tape." You just said,
Meanwhile,
"Look, I take responsibility."
We showed Howard the tape, or we told Howard.
I got $1,000 on this guy to beat Jason on the IQ test, and I'm going to lose my money. You're not getting it. You're not understanding.
Well, then whatever.
I'm fascinated. Like while he's going down, he's pulling down John Hine, Will. Who get his hands on?
He's not drowning
pulled
by
down
himself.
John Hine with you.
John Hine, I forget his exact words, but you gotta. He was encouraging us to give it to you.
Yeah, but why are you like? Is
Well,
that
he's
what
such
you
a
are?
good
You have to
friend.
throw-
But again, he didn't do it.
You did it. I did it.
He didn't
Doug
make
did
any
it. If John
promises
Hine
to
did it,
anybody.
why do you have to? Why do you have to
That
ruin
tape
his
could have been
relationship?
buried, and the whole thing would have went
Why do you
away.
have to ruin his relationship with Gary?
Yeah, really.
Well, I'm not
what's it
trying
to
to
you?
do that.
But
I'm
you
just
really
trying
are.
to-
That's exactly
I'm
what you're trying to do.
tell Gary that he shouldn't be only mad at me.
No, you're trying to tell me that my
No.
friend isn't as good as I think he is. That's really what you're trying to do.
I mean, you're really a weasel.
Yeah.
Of the highest order.
You really are.
Wow.
Oh, great. Now the Fred email will come tomorrow. That it's nothing but DePace's.
That was coming anyway. Now it's just going to be worse.
When I read nothing but the opposite on Sternfed
Do you
Network.
think that Fred? Do you think that Fred
That's
is
not
holding
true.
back email?
Fred filters totally.
I sent a couple of emails in that actually, picked on Gary.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just you. But you do admit that you made a solemn vow to him that you would never use that tape. And
No,
when Doug came to you
I don't
and
think
said,
I was doing the equivalent of marriage or putting my hand on the Bible,
Dude,
but
it's
Your
a
word is your
promise.
word.
Your word means nothing, is
It's
what
a
you're saying?
Here's the deal. If Gary had said
Around
that day,
here,
no,
not a
I
whole
will
lot.
not let this happen, and he would not let you put that camera in without the switch, then that would have been the end of it. And you would have had to find a way to do
I
it.
don't recall
He did
the
you a
conversation
favor.
being a big deal.
He did you a favor by letting you take the easier way out.
You
He
don't
did
recall the
Howard TV a
conversation.
favor.
No,
not
I
me
didn't.
A favor.
I don't have to do.
Well, you're the guy that had the conversation with him, right?
You
And he
asked
gets
me
paid
about
by
you-
Howard TV.
Oh,
You
my
were the
God.
guy that had the conversation with him.
He's in charge when it
Don't
counts.
hide behind Howard TV.
Irish John, you're on the air.
Jesus.
Hey, Howard, how you doing?
Hey.
I think you need to put a shock collar on Gary and give the guys in the control room, like Scott and Doug, the remote for it, so when he falls asleep, they could train him and stop him. And then he won't fall asleep. You know what, Howard? On Channel 11 News one time, they had a picture of a cop that fell asleep in one of the subway stations, and they aired that picture, and I was like, that's up. But the guy fell asleep on the job, and anybody could have walked by Gary's office with a camera and snapped the picture.
Right.
So,
But they didn't.
No,
you're
listen.
right.
And had that happened, then Gary couldn't be mad at anybody.
Exactly. That's
but
exactly
this is
right.
a situation where somebody promised somebody, if you let me do this, then
All
I
right.
promise you.
The
It
point
was quid
is
pro
we're getting
quo,
off the
and you
point.
didn't quid.
The point is, if Gary and you have a thing, you don't have to throw everybody else into the mix.
Here's
I
one last-
worked my thing out with Gary. Doug worked his thing out. bringing up John Hine and just waving your arms and saying everybody else is to blame. Just take your blame and that's it. It's like if you go before the judge, if 5 guys rape a woman, you got to go before the judge and say, why did you do it? Not the other 4 guys.
And if you made the date with the girl and then your buddies
you can't equate this to rape. That's ridiculous. This is not rape. Now, one last thing.
I didn't say it was rape. I'm giving you an extreme example.
Here's how I see this whole thing going down. I'm doing a segment. Gary falls asleep. Doug, pandemonium in the back. They start recording it. They have this tape now.
Right.
Now, the tape then comes to you.
Right.
And you make the decision.
We know that.
Now,
I'm to blame.
And you have even said, if I buried that tape and threw it out, you would have been angry.
I accept the blame.
So in this case, I had nothing to do with it. Doug taped it, and you wanted to play it.
Did you give Gary your word that you would never use that tape?
Yeah, but I didn't tape it.
So you should have said to Doug, I gave him my word. Get rid of the tape.
We can't use it.
That's yours.
Maybe I did say that to him.
Maybe you didn't.
It's a long time.
That hasn't come out in the past
we're deep
24
into the
hours, so I don't think that happened.
All right, I'm lying there. But, still.
Do you understand the difference? Forget
I
about
understand
my role in
everything,
it. Forget
please.
about Doug's role. What is your role in it? Just be sorry
he's the guy that if he was at a party and a cop walked in and busted him for smoking pot, he'd go, well, what about over there? They were smoking it too.
You're guilty.
Right. You're a
guilty
rat.
is charged, Your Honor. You're guilty. Stop saying John Hine. Stop saying that. You are guilty.
Okay.
Forget about the other guys.
I'm sorry.
Let the other guys deal with Gary.
All right.
But it does make for great radio and great TV.
Thank you so much for setting me straight.
All right. Thank you, Irish John.
All right, Howard.
Scott, thank you. Gary, I'm sorry what you went through. Do you feel any better about Scott now? He's saying he's sorry.
No, first of all, you shouldn't be sorry because what I did was wrong. And this is between me and Scott. Again, this is easily ended if Scott goes, yeah, you're right. He did apologize to me, but then, it's an excuse for everything. We'll figure it out at some point.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, well, if you say I'm so stupid and slow, then treat me as a slow adult.
You can't get mad at you, right?
That's what everybody else does.
Gary the retard.
Yeah, you're like Gary the retard.
He just
All
stuck
right.
his tongue out.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Solitaire, Baba Booey, Sparkle, Baba Booey, Shrimp, Baba Booey, Cookies, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Chocolate, Baba Booey, Nap time, Baba Booey, Makan, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
You're listening to Bowie 25 on Howard 101.
In Dallas, authorities are investigating why a 28-year-old man who is retarded, deaf, and mute spent 2 weeks in jail listed under the name of a cartoon character while anxious relatives search for him.
What character, Gossamer?
No, they had him
Baba
listed
Booey.
as Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
What is your name, son? What is your name? Answer me, you dummy.
Baba Booey.
That's right. Don't you tell me, Baba Booey. I'll beat you over the head with a stick. Now, what's your name?
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
I said say it once, not twice your name.
Baba Booey.
So they listed him as Howard the Duck? And
he was trying to write his name, apparently, on a piece of paper for him.
Right.
His name is Howard Lee Bryce.
Right.
And they couldn't read his handwriting. So they had him listed as Howard the Duck.
Maybe they thought he was a duck.
They didn't realize they had him in jail until they saw his picture in the Dallas Morning News. And that's how he found out.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so what are they going to say? They couldn't make out his name, so they call him Howard the Duck. Big deal.
Bowie 25 presents What Does Baba Booey Mean to Me?
My name is Jake Fogelnest. I am a professional comedy writer in show business. What does Baba Booey mean to me? Flow high. Working so hard, devoting your life to something, and having it ultimately mean nothing because you're just Baba Booey. Your professional life can be at a 9, but your personal life will be at a 2. And no matter how hard you work, you're still gonna botch that pitch. You're still gonna botch that pitch. You're still gonna fall asleep at work. It's hard being Baba Booey, and that's why we should support him. Gary, get it together, man.
This is Booey 25 on Howard 101. See how one Baba blunder changed Stern show history.
He always does things wrong. You're right. It was a mistake. I didn't realize it.
I just like watching you eat. Those eggs are battling those teeth, and those teeth are going to win every time.
Toothy.
Ta-ta-tooty, ta-ta-tooty, ta-ta-tooty.
This is Booey 25, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the name that became a movement. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. And Baba Booey P.O. All weekend long on Howard 101.
I got it.
Hi, this is Gary, and I want to tell you about how I came up with the title of my book, They Call Me Baba Booey. Well, after time deliberating, inside my own head, what in fact should be the title of this book, what signifies all things Baba Booey, it was clear. And it was like a beacon of truth. After 9 months deliberating, I decided what better title than to have Baba Booey in the title and what I am most known as in our pop culture, Baba Booey. Why not name the book They Call Me Baba Booey?
Hey, Gary, how come on your audiobook do you have music behind you?
Because music is important.
No.
Music is my life, both.
It probably just starts the book. It's probably not for the whole book. Probably just the first minute or so. That's pretty common in audiobooks.
Oh.
They start out with music and then they end with music.
Okay, this is when you're doing your list or something. I got to get this audiobook. Yes, John Hine.
When Gary does a list in the book, they put
play the
music underneath it, so you know it's a list and not part of the actual.
Oh yeah, it says Gary's jukebox list. I got to hear this.
These aren't necessarily my favorite songs.
Well, if you don't turn the page.
Oh no.
You have to read the list.
How am I going to turn the page on an audiobook?
You're not listening to an audiobook anyway.
I might have to on this. You annoy me on your audiobook.
Oh, that's not true. I just annoy you.
These aren't necessarily my favorite songs. These are songs that just sound unbelievable on a jukebox.
Oh. Now, these are not my favorites
How did you figure this out?
because I sat in a diner before I met Howard and waited for work.
I own a jukebox.
Oh, you own a jukebox?
I own a jukebox.
Oh, okay.
These are songs that... What is the difference if it's on a jukebox or if it's somewhere else?
It's a different sound and it's a different vibe.
You're out of your mind.
My goodness.
Why not a list of songs that he does like? That sound
Because
great
my whole
on a
life has
jukebox?
been music, Fred, and I don't even play an instrument. And
Why does his jukebox have songs he doesn't like on?
Why do they have to have songs that he's hostile towards?
Hold on a second.
But I want to hear your book.
I didn't say I didn't like the songs. I'm saying they're not my top 10 songs of all time. They're songs that I like, but that especially sound good on a jukebox.
What a list.
now I'm
Boy,
confused.
they must have been short on pages. Songs that sound good on a jukebox.
That aren't my favorites.
How am I ever going to get through this book without stopping at every sentence?
I know, it's amazing.
He's amazing.
These aren't necessarily my favorite songs.
That'll be for later, if you stay tuned.
That's book 2.
Coming up.
I'm not shooting my load off in book 1.
These are songs that just sound unbelievable on a jukebox. So I'll start with Suspicious Mind.
Look at Gary typing. I mean, he's got to look
know.
up at the screen every few minutes and look down at the keys.
Okay, we've established I can't
Take a typing class.
And his whole hand covers the key.
Oh, my God.
It's very funny.
It's like man discovering fire. In this day and age, you got to take a typing class. You got to be out of your mind to be sitting doing that peck and search thing that he's doing. He doesn't even know where anything is. Look at it.
Well, how could he?
He's moving pretty fast for doing one finger.
Well, I love the one finger pecking quickly.
I'm typing a memo. This is songs that sound good on a jukebox.
Particularly good.
Particularly is a tough word to say with my teeth, gums, and lips. For my next book, songs that sound good between 4 and 5 o'clock. They don't necessarily.
that sound good on the radio.
These songs do not necessarily sound good in the morning, but they sound good in the afternoon.
I haven't rejected this. Songs that sound good on my toaster oven. As we all know, toaster ovens do not have high fidelity.
These are songs that sound particularly good in 8-track.
This is a list for the 10 people in the country who own a jukebox. I'm hitting everyone with my new book.
Everyone should have these songs in their jukebox.
These are songs that sound particularly good on a jukebox, but not necessarily my favorite songs. Wow. How do you even figure that for a book? How do you get a one-shot deal to write a book and come up with that? How do you do that?
Any interest?
No. I'm talking about your book.
I read a book, too, that was fascinating.
I'm not interested in deflecting over to Robin, as you call it.
We're at your list.
If she's gonna talk about a dull book or dull parts of an interesting book,
This is not dull
We can't believe.
What are you talking about?
I'm fascinated too by some of her book.
You'll do that on your show.
talking
Do that on the
about
wrap-up show.
dull?
Don't come in here and deflect.
How could any of this be dull?
Defend.
No, deflect. I don't want to hear about Robin's book now. I've talked about Robin's book. Now I'm talking about that you had a whole book to write, and one page is songs that sound good on a jukebox. Amazing.
It's a whole page.
Wow.
One whole page.
Is it?
It's a page. It's by Elvis Presley.
Well, all right. I
All right, wait a minute. We're missing the list, Howard.
Sorry.
These aren't necessarily my favorite songs. These are songs that just sound unbelievable on a jukebox. So I'll start with Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley.
What do you do with that?
Unbelievable.
Do I go out and buy a jukebox now?
Yeah, you have to.
Sounds great on a jukebox. My Way by Frank Sinatra. Is there any jukebox in the world that doesn't have that on it?
Holy.
And it sounds unbelievable on a jukebox.
Sounds like the MTV audition. His delivery has not improved since then.
Mac the Knife by Bobby Darin. Be My Baby by the Ronettes. Only the Lonely by Roy Orbison.
I guess they had to get generic music for this.
Good Lord.
It's the kind of book that you hear it, and then you go, I don't remember a thing he just said, because I can't even repeat his list.
No, I'm just Roy Orbison, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, where's he from? Like, what era is this?
Bobby Darin?
Flip flop. Splish splash, I mean. Splish splash.
Believe Him by Journey. I don't even really like that song that much, but for some reason, when it's on the jukebox, it just sounds better.
Now, did he write this after the Sopranos thing?
Yes, I did. Busted.
I'm capitalizing on the Soprano popularity wave.
I have many other lists in my book, Robin.
I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton.
Oh, yes. Is there anyone who doesn't think that's good?
That's just me because I was listening to that on the jukebox when I was at Tom's Coffee Shop all the time.
What's Tom's Coffee Shop?
That's just me. All of this is just you.
Oh, Looney.
I asked Vinny, but he didn't care for it.
Maniac. Stick to about your mother and your brother.
Oh, my goodness. No, what would we do if these things weren't here?
Wow. Now, this song sounds good in the state of Maine. Now, this is just me, but I don't think this sounds good in California.
Good morning, Cyndi.
Morning, darling.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I see you're carrying a book in your hand,
The infamous book.
your memoir.
My memoir.
That's also the title of it, right? Cyndi Lauper,
It is,
a memoir.
just in case you didn't know. It's memoir.
All right. So I imagine right this way. I imagine
that's
there are
attractive.
lots of.
Who is the bunny?
Oh, that's Hank, the angry drunken dwarf. He's no longer with us though.
Really?
Yeah, so we leave him up there as sort of a tribute to him.
All right. But you mean he just left? He's no longer.
No, like he's deceased.
He is deceased?
About 10 years, 11 years ago.
Oh, wow, I'm so sorry.
He actually passed away right before 9/11, so his death was sort of overshadowed by everything that happened.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring so much tragedy into the...
Tragedy! It's a tragedy.
But you're looking forward to seeing Howard again? And
Well, I haven't seen him for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
My husband said to say hello because they used to run together.
Oh, okay. And share some stories from your memoir.
My memoir. Yeah.
All
How's
right.
it going on? What's that show? American's Got Talent.
It just wrapped up. He just finished it, so he's sort of getting back
It's
to
going to
normal.
have new co-hosts now.
Yeah, I think Sharon's leaving, and
Mariah Carey.
oh, that's right. Never thought I'd see those two together. Howard
It'll
and
be interesting.
to say the least. All right, Cyndi, I'll let you get in the studio and talk to Howard.
Right?
All right.
Usually I'm in here with an instrument, so really throwing me off.
Just talk today.
Just talking. Wow. Okay.
All right, Cyndi.
Cyndi Lauper wrote a book. It's amazingly honest. I can't believe how honest it is.
Yeah, I've been reading excerpts.
I was just saying, Cyndi. Hey, Cyndi.
Hey.
You look great. You look great. You're an attractive woman, I gotta say.
You're right?
You really are.
And I gotta still keep my looks, right?
Body's nice. What are you working
use
out?
A diet. I
No.
stopped eating bread. I'm allergic. I have a gluten allergy.
Don't believe it.
I've
heard that.
psoriasis, and it's killing me. So when I stopped eating the bread a little, at least it stopped a little.
Read
I
Dr.
was
John
covered from
Sarno's
here to-
book.
All right.
You got a lot going on. Didn't you
do.
have some back issues too? Back pain?
No.
You never had back pain?
No, I had, when I was writing the book, I was like hunched over the computer a lot, so my neck was killing me.
I know. I'll talk to you off the air about
Hey,
this.
you wrote a book too,
I
right?
wrote 2 books. I wrote Private Parts and Miss America.
Miss America.
Yeah, that was my second book, my follow-up, my second smash book. 2 big
Well,
hits.
That's good.
I was just saying to Robin, I commend you on your honesty in this book. I
Yeah.
mean, it is remarkably honest. And, look.
You know what Oscar Wilde said, and Harvey told me this. Harvey
What did he say?
He said, "Feel free to be yourself. Everyone else is taken."
No, but you put your ego aside. I'll tell you why. Because you
What?
even admit your failures. And I like this about you. You talk about at one point when you were doing movies a lot, and you were in a movie called Vibes.
Yeah.
You were slated to co-star with Dan Aykroyd, who I think is brilliant.
Me too.
And you were excited about the project. Suddenly, Dan Aykroyd gets out of the project.
He hated me.
Yeah, and you admit that. Why did he hate you? You mean he met you and hated you, or he hated you?
He didn't think I was very good, and he thought I was, I don't know what he thought. He just left and said bad vibes.
Did he say to you, did he confront you and say, look, I just don't think you're up to this?
No, I tried to read with him, and it was the first time I'd never read
All right.
before with anyone.
Which is a very disturbing process.
Well, it's
difficult.
different.
Yeah.
It ain't like, you're not supposed to act. So he did this thing that I didn't understand, and I felt like...
What did he do? You're in there reading Vibes with him.
Okay, it could be anything like Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? So
Right.
say it's Mary Had a Little Lamb, his fleece was white as snow, is everywhere,
Right. Blowing it off.
Because I didn't realize, but that is a process. I just thought he hated me. I was like, okay, I guess I have to just keep reading. I went and did a screen test first,
Right.
with Ron Howard to make sure I didn't look like a complete idiot. I said, if I look like an idiot, I don't think I'm up for this.
Right.
And then I did it, and he said, oh, it's great, you have something. When Ron Howard says that to you, you believe him.
If Ron Howard says to you, I'm going to put money into a film, millions of dollars, and you've got it, that you believe that, of course, but yet you didn't believe in yourself. And when you met Aykroyd, I feel like you kind of lost confidence.
Well, I was a little heartbroken that he, Then I stayed on the project, and I felt like the bad egg.
And they brought in Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and they brought Peter Falk in because I begged them to bring Peter Falk in. I even had
Great
my
actor.
hair, but more than that, the rhythm of his speech is like mine. And so I thought that would look great, and originally I was going to have pink hair, but I fell asleep with the bleach on because I was really tired, and I woke up and it was really light, and I didn't put any more tone or anything on it because I figured, hey, all right, it's the wrong color, but hair is more important than none. So I went with it, and then with the two of them had black hair and my hair was light, I thought, well, it's very iconic, classic comedy, you know, like Jean
Like
Harlow
Lucy.
had that. No, Lucy had
The red.
Yeah, she had red.
Well, so all this thought goes into it, but bottom line is, you write in the book, and this is why I like the book, you're honest and you say you hated Jeff Goldblum.
I didn't hate him. I had a problem. I thought he was having going through something, probably.
He was odd.
He was odd, but to the point where, look, you know, honestly, no matter who you are, I know you got issues and problems. Everybody got them, you know, but
Sure.
don't stand next to me and make an old person really upset, or a kid, or a mother with a kid, because after that, you're dead.
So in other words,
What did
you're
he
alluding to he would yell at people on
No,
the
he
set?
didn't yell. He would take a book
Right.
and read the book like he was having a nervous breakdown, which I understand. That's a process.
Okay.
I get it. But you know what? Don't stand right next to me when they have me standing for the light and you got to go have a nervous breakdown.
It's disconcerting to all the other actors.
Well, yeah, and you can't.
Rude.
And what happened was the older guy kept forgetting his lines. So it was in the rotunda. You know, probably write me a letter like cease and desist. But hey, we're saying that I don't care. You
Right,
know,
I
take
know
your
you
best shot. Everybody else did. So, you know, I'm standing in the rotunda, and there's this older fellow, and he's supposed to be our boss, and Jeff is having the nervous breakdown routine next to us. So I
Right.
said to him, "Look, pal, not for nothing. I could notice here that this is you're doing your little method thing." I said, which is fine and good. But why don't you take a walk? Because I asked the guy right in front of me, I said, do you find this disconcerting? And he said, yes. And I looked at him and I said, look, you know, you do your thing, take a walk, and then come back. If you don't, I'm going to have to kill you, and it's not going to be a murder mystery because I'll kill you right here in front of everybody.
So the whole thing went
Well,
kablooey.
he always... Well, I thought that was funny, too, but he was always you know, and what are you going to do?
So
I
there
do
was
my
no love
best.
lost there.
I don't care if you don't like me. Who
Yeah, but on a
cares?
movie, you
It
do
sucks.
care.
It hurt my feelings no matter what. I knew that if he knew what I was going to do, he'd do little crappy things to me all the time. So I was like, yeah, check this out, my friend. Though I walk through the valley, you ever see this T-shirt? Though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil, because I'm the meanest son of a bitch in the valley, okay? How do you like that? Because where I come from, we're really mean.
I understand you better now because of this book. I mean, I knew you had struggled as an artist and you had rough years, but I didn't know
tough childhood.
I didn't know how tough, and now kind of to read it all in one book, the truth comes out. I mean, you had a miserable, miserable childhood. I mean,
It wasn't. There was comedy.
yeah, but sure. I mean, there are moments, but for the most part,
My mother was terrific, though.
your father left.
Yeah,
How old were you when your father left?
5.
5 years old. He splits. Your mother remarries. Maybe a crazy person. So crazy, he's a pedophile, you say in the book.
Well, you see, you're not supposed to say that, and she didn't want to go to the police. You got to understand those times. Even when they had fights and the neighbors got fed up and they called the cops would come, look at all of us, and go on their walkie-talkie and go, domestic violence.
How many kids are in your family?
Just me, my sister, and my brother.
Okay.
And then there was the dog that he tortured, too. It was like...
I mean, but when you talk about home life, a guy comes into the home. You say he would spy on you. You would be going to the bathroom or in
whatever,
the, well, what do you mean? Whatever. It's in the book.
It's in the book. Read the book.
No, but I'm interviewing you about
Okay.
your life.
Oh, okay.
It's horrible.
Well, it was tough.
The man would drill a hole in a bathroom.
He
and,
didn't. He had a fight with my mother, and he threw her against the bathroom door.
Oh.
And her wedding ring, which I remember when she first got married, she said to me, she showed me her ring and a dress, and I said, Ma, it's not gold. She said, it's platinum. It won't wear out. And
She had high hopes.
yeah, and then with that same ring, he had fight with her and threw her into the door, and the ring hit the frosted glass window, and it left a crack and a little hole, and that was the hole
Oh,
he
my
would look
God.
through.
And you were aware of this.
Well, you have to be careful. Yeah, look, I knew what was going on. I knew this,
So he spied on you, he spied on your brother, and he spied on your sister.
Not my brother. I don't know. My brother was a boy. He didn't say that kind of stuff to my mother, too. He said, the whole threat was he had power and she had none. He would beat up her parents and rape her daughters. And
he would say that?
Yeah, and
he
then
would
if she
threaten your mother?
Yeah, and if she tried to go to court, he'd drag us on the witness stand and make it look like we were asking for it.
Oh, my God. So you had to go testify at...
We never did. She never did. That's how she lived. She never did anything. And then I finally left that day, and my brother...
You left home?
Yeah, my brother, poor Butch, he stayed, and then he learned to get really tough, and when he got big and tough enough, he came home and told him to take a hike. And the funny thing about bullies only like to bully people smaller and with less physical power or power.
Sure.
Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
really cowards, yeah.
Yeah, well, they've probably been beaten up in life,
yeah,
too. I mean, it's a whole cycle.
It's a chain.
Goes
It's
on.
called the product of misery. It goes
Right.
on and on, yeah.
So do you ever say to your mother at some point, wow, how did you not protect us from this fucking lunatic?
She did. She used to fight with him. She used to tell us to go in and lock our door. You got to understand, she didn't have her father working for her or any of the relatives working for her. They
Right.
knew what was going on. Nobody was helping her.
Right.
And she was working 14 hours a day.
So I guess anybody being there for her was better than nothing.
Well, there was hardly. And, my aunt had her struggles. And, let me tell you, when everybody talks about that 47%?
Yes.
Well, fuck them, because they don't know what it's like to be that.
It wasn't that your mother was poor because she decided to be a freeloader or something.
She
was
wasn't
having
a freeloader.
right. She was having a hard time making it in life.
And she worked hard. And let me tell you
Right.
about the 47%, Howard.
Yes.
They pay taxes. They pay payroll taxes.
Right.
And they probably pay more payroll taxes than that guy who only pays 11%, who's rich as
You're
the
talking
day
about
is
leverage
long.
buyout guys. I mean, they, that's a whole fishy business in itself.
Yeah, but you know what? Or the elderly who paid all their life. Or there's a lot of little sections of that 47% that you'd be shocked about.
It shows a naivete on his part.
No, it shows an arrogance and a lot of stupidity. But the man must be a genius, because they always get these genius people that say the most ridiculous things and say, hey, elect me, I'm retarded. No, that's not a good thing, of course.
But isn't it amazing, considering your background? You leave home at 17, and
now I'm going to start crying. No, my makeup. I got to go on CNN.
Yeah, but you leave home at 17 years old, which is a brave thing to do, and
I was packing since 14.
Right, you just couldn't wait to get out of the house.
But there was no place to go, Howard. I couldn't get anybody to hire me.
Right, you had no job, but you had to get out of the house because you're living with stepfather from hell.
Well, he was kind of a cross between Freddy Krueger and Don Rickles, because he was really funny, and then he was really scary, so you never knew when.
Do you ever
that
really...
makes it worse, because you don't know which way to go.
Do you have a tremendous trust issue with men? I mean, you say in your book at one point...
Now, I went to different therapists, Howard.
And did it help?
Yeah. One guy he whined a lot, but he was really good. And then I realized that it wasn't just him whining in my life. He'd go, well, Cyndi, and then I had another friend I worked with, rude girl, and she'd be, Cyndi, and then there was Myra that I was working with.
Yeah, but Cyndi, when you walk in,
you got a little melody
Cyndi,
there.
when you walk into a therapist's office, you must have tremendous difficulty. I would imagine you need to work with a male therapist to get over your male issues.
No, I worked with another guy who was working on anger, and he used to have you beat pillows with a wooden samurai sword, and you had to do all this physical stuff, and then in the end he wound up being a comedy writer for Comedy Central. See, I knew when he was having me do all this stuff, it was a little peculiar and funny, and maybe
Your life is bizarre.
It's very bizarre.
And it's bizarre in the sense, too, that I was thinking about this.
Listen, it's always a good story if you can live through it.
But there was a period of time in your life, you write in your book, that you even tried not to love men. You wanted to be a lesbian. Like you said, I'm going to will myself to be in a relationship.
That wasn't it. Why? It was because all my best friends
were gay.
Yeah, and I didn't want to lose them.
I
I wanted
see.
to be their friend, and I wanted to be like them.
But don't you think it was like, oh, men are disgusting?
I didn't think. I wanted to be. Listen, haven't you ever grown up and have best friends, and then they do something, and you want to be just like them?
Right.
But you're not.
But trying to be gay, I mean, you're not attracted to women.
Well,
I mean, you have to force yourself
Wow,
to.
that's a really great hairdo, and that looks really fabulous. And I love the shoes. What a great.
How far did you go in trying to be a lesbian? Did you live with a woman?
No, I was 15.
Oh, I see. You were that young.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
You tried kissing, and it didn't work for you. You're into guys. And men have been a huge disappointment in your life. You even got so.
I got David Thornton.
No, I'm talking about before
guy.
David. David's a great guy, but you dated. You talk about in the book how you dated your manager for a long time. This guy. He was
I loved him.
You loved him,
and he loved me.
And you put him in some of your videos. I remember that.
Well, then maybe that was a big mistake for him, because then people wouldn't take him serious. It was just a way that we could be together. He was my boyfriend before he was my manager.
But when he broke up with you,
I was really depressed. Yeah.
Depressed. You tried to kill yourself. You were,
I didn't.
You were thinking about it.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then, honestly, Howard, sitting there with a vodka bottle from Russia, and I took a shot because I can't really drink.
Yes, but can you
like,
believe it was so dark in your life? You have so many gifts and talent and
Howard,
good friends.
Wait a minute. It was 1988.
Yes.
Lenny had broken his leg. He wasn't in the studio. The evil Tommy Mottola took over everything. I'm sorry. Gotta say. I mean, it was like the evil empire up there.
But you're critical. You're critical of Tommy.
No, it's not. Why, you his gumbade?
No. I know Tommy, and I know him. I know him well.
He's very nice.
But I'm going to ask you.
Unless you're in a business where it's about who's going to be the most powerful. And at that time, I also was stuck with a guy who was a bit of an alcoholic, who we were helping, and then all of a sudden he turned really weird, and I had to finish a record, and I was sick to my stomach, and my relationship with David was gone, Lenny was gone, everybody that made me famous or worked with me and helped me and
was
nurtured
now
me,
gone.
Gone, and now you have knucklehead Smiths up there who are going to try and make me do what Hart did and sound like Hart. So, for somebody who really wanted to own their own path, who changed the way people sounded on the radio, the way people looked, the color of everybody's hair, for them to then turn around and tell me I had to wear jeans and a T-shirt, why, you'd be depressed too.
Well, but if Tommy is trying, I'm not
he
just
was
picking
the
on
same.
Tommy.
Well, it was him
He's
hiring the people.
But yeah, I'm saying, in other words, he's got his money in you. He's got he's backing you. He wants to see you succeed. No, you feel he was against you?
I have no idea. All I know is every time I put something out, they'd say, "Well, there's a memo saying that we're not going to promote you."
I see.
So, it's like, okay, who's that?
Why
memo
would they
from?
do that? You mean they didn't believe in the record?
No, because there was a lot of political stuff going on. At that time, Howard, Tommy and Walter were fighting.
Walter
and
Yetnikoff.
He was trying to get Walter out. So I stuck up for Walter because Walter had helped me at one time. But I had helped Tommy, too. I helped Tommy get the job. I brought them over to my house.
See, but I don't understand something. If I'm a record company guy and I own a record company, I want my artists to do well.
No, they want their artists to do well.
But aren't you their artist?
Not when the guy who signed you is gone. No.
And they don't care anymore? I mean,
they
to me,
have their list. Don't you know that's how corporation? They get rid of all the people, so they put their people in, and now they want a new face. But they wouldn't let me go.
But you know what's funny to me? If I ran a record company, I'd say, I don't care who signed the artist. I got to make money with this record company so my boss doesn't get rid of me.
No.
And so I look at an artist like you.
They didn't care like that. But the Japanese did come to me at one point and say, Cyndi, we believe in you. We like your music. Please make a record. We want to promote your music. We like what you do. Because at that point, everybody was telling me they didn't like anything I did. So, here you are, you work, you got an original sound, you did your path. Then you have these other guys come in and tell you, oh, we're changing everything about you. Because to them it's disposable art, and to you, it's a living art.
Well, I think you're right. I think that you have to stay yourself. You have to be true to yourself because otherwise you become cookie cutter and like everybody else.
Well, the thing about me was I wasn't like everybody else.
That's true.
And that's what made me famous.
The song that made you most famous, I believe, was "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," right? Was that the big one?
What did it was, now "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" would have gone by the wayside had there not been Time After Time right after it.
"Girls Just Want to Have Fun." You
Went to
number two, and you introduced that song with your whole wrestling connection, WWF at the time.
Because at the time, Howard, radio wasn't playing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." They said we had a note from the best program director in the country that said they would talk to us and tell us, you know, how we could adjust my career because "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" would never be played on Top 40 and is not album radio because I sing too high.
So you wisely, now I understand this WWF connection.
Dave Wolf loved wrestling, and it was his idea, and he said, I have another idea.
I'm going to put
just
you on
need to be
WWF,
exposed, yeah.
and you play "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" on the WWF.
Friday night, Saturday morning, and Saturday night. He said you'd get 3 hits in a weekend.
He found an alternative way to distribute the music, not using the radio.
Yeah,
and
we
it
did
paid off.
cross promotion, and we had fun.
And so the record starts to sell from the WWF fans. They go, hey, we want to get a copy of this "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." And
well, no, there were people, we had little episodes every once in a while, and that wound up on E.T. as a news item. And all of a sudden, what we were doing was bleeding over to all these different mediums. And we were having a riot. So we said, okay, now we know what we're doing. And,
right.
And so it was on MTV. It was on news. It was...
I didn't realize the wrestling had such an effect on your career, a positive, because I was like, why is she doing that? I was already aware of you as an artist. I was like, why is she doing all that wrestling? But that makes sense to me.
Well, I stayed.
You thought outside the box.
Yeah, but I stayed because it was the one place that Dave Wolf and I could still work together as equals, not as just he's your manager.
Where is he now?
He's managing a girl named Beth Hart and a few others, and he's in L.A.
Wasn't that a dumb move, though, for him to not continue to manage you?
We couldn't.
Because why? You were lovers that broke up?
It was too much. Yeah. And
you were madly in love with him.
He was with me, but the problem was, honestly, in the end, I really feel like I was born in this planet to do something larger than myself. And it's not just about having any hit song on the radio. It's about communicating on the radio a song that actually makes people feel either elated or have a deeper sense of their self, like what I did with the story and the sound of all of those songs. None of them were disposable. I was very picky, and I arranged them in a certain way, and what I wrote specifically until I got to A Night to Remember. Then that got a little wishy-washy because I was trying to please the record company, but there was no pleasing them because it was still me.
But True Colors, I mean, not True Colors, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I want to go back to this.
Yeah.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That was a song originally written
by Robert Hazard.
By a guy.
He wrote Escalator of Life. He had a really interesting sound coming out of Philly. There was Robert Hazard, and there was the A's.
Who brought you that song?
Rick Chertoff. Because Lenny, Dave Wolf knew Lenny.
Who's Lenny?
Lenny Pizzi was the man who started Portrait Records, and he signed me. He had worked for Epic. He signed Boston. He worked with.
Is he your savior? Is he the guy who came into your life and figured it all out?
He was the guy, yeah, and he was not like the regular record company guy.
Right.
He was nice. I mean, you thought he was a phony because I kept thinking, this guy, he can't be that nice.
And
but
he was
actually
nice.
Was.
So some men in your life are nice.
Well, I have a lot of nice men in my life, and I have a son and a husband. I live in a guy's house.
Right. And so going back in your life now, I'm going to go backwards again.
All right.
All right. You get out of your parents, your stepfather, you get away from him, you leave at 17. You don't know quite what you're going to do, how you're going to make money. And you tried a bunch of different things, including being a stripper.
I wasn't a stripper.
You were a stripper.
No, I wasn't. I worked as a topless dancer.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, because the strippers they stripped. You went on and you danced and you did I was a performer anyway, so I made up a little story and did a show.
You didn't realize guys just want to see your breasts. They don't care about a performance.
Well, whatever.
Right, you're an artist. So you would get on stage as a young stripper.
As a topless dancer.
As a topless dancer, and you had routines,
the
and you were putting your.
were different.
Yes, but
Where
you were putting.
were you topless dancing?
Well, they didn't let you go. I never got to the good places. I would take a bus up to Nyack, and there'd be another girl dancing.
That's awful.
And sometimes
you were playing the out of town.
And you didn't tell your mother, right? I mean, you just kind of kept that quiet.
At one point, I did, and she was a little disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
Would they pay you a decent amount of money, probably?
Well, you could make $250 a night, and if you sack some of that away, you could buy a PA system, and that's what I was trying to do.
You're financing your music career.
Yeah.
Right, and that's pretty damn good money back in that day.
Because my band said, you could always do this. You make a lot of money. And sometimes one of them would come and pick me up from the gig if it was close by.
But you said even the men at the topless, but here you are taking off your top and giving them a show, and even the men were rude to you then. They would yell shit out to you, disparaging comments. They tell you smelled.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy.
I mean, that's the worst thing you can say.
Then you go back and you try again with, this and, all these cleansers and,
It's true.
Oh my God.
The lowest thing you could say to a woman is, "Oh, you smell." I mean, that's such a rude comment.
Well, when I was growing up, it was a very sexist time. It always is. But, recently I was at a concert, and it was hip-hop and electronic, all kinds. And this African-American young woman, beautiful songwriter, I guess, and singer, and she came up to me, she thanked me for my work, and she said, especially in this time of rape music.
Rape music?
Rape music. And I said,
what is that?
And then all of a sudden I started to think about it. Now think about it. If you're a girl and you're listening to the hip-hop and they're talking about your pussy's wet and it's all this assaultive talk.
Yes.
It's rape music for her. For me, I shut it down.
Well, it encourages men to think of women as disposable.
Well, it's the suits, the heads of the company. They won't put out anything else.
Right.
Ask the young rappers. They'll tell you.
Right.
If you write about sex and drugs and violence, and then that's
then
cool.
you get play.
But I mean, I focus on men in your life because all of your early experiences, you describe in the book. You went hitchhiking. That's how you got. Everyone back in the day used to hitchhike. One guy wouldn't let you out of the car, and you had to blow him to get out of the car.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's got to be the lowest fucking scary situation. I mean.
Listen, I don't
look
know
how unprotected you were.
I'm alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I always had a guardian angel.
Where were you hitchhiking that something horrible like this happened?
I just wanted to get to a job interview because I couldn't get there.
All alone. You decide to stick out the thumb and I'm going to get to someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get in a car, you're an attractive woman, and boom, bam, boom, the guy's threatening your life, right?
Well, what are you going to do? So I got out. I survived. And then I went on the interview. I didn't do too well.
Did you go to the police about what happened, or you just said,
I hitchhiked, so I guess it was my fault.
Oh, come on. Do you believe that?
At that time, yeah.
But do you still believe that it's your fault?
I don't think you're supposed to hitchhike. I think
but you would still, wouldn't you turn him in today?
I've hitchhiked in my life.
To happen to you?
And you know what? It's always a bit, you know what happened to me? I was hitchhiking in Arizona with a girl I knew. And these local guys picked us up, and they were into guns. They had guns. And they pull over on the side of the road, and they start firing off their guns into the cactus. They shoot up the cactus. And I'm like, oh, my God, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't know from guns.
And you're with this girl.
And I'm with this girl, and I'm like, and nothing inappropriate or weird happened, but I just remember feeling very unsafe. I mean, the situations we put ourselves in as kids, because we didn't know any better, it was a naivete, it was an innocence.
But now you should know. don't hitch.
Well, I think people do know.
And if somebody does something like that to you, you call the cops.
But don't you come out of this all, Cyndi, thinking, God, I didn't have a father who protected me. I didn't have a mother who really protected me. She might have been a nice woman.
No,
okay,
she
listen,
tried.
I'm not saying anything bad, but she really wasn't there.
Herself. No, she
That's
was
what I'm saying.
there.
And you didn't have a strong role model. Your mother didn't stand
She tried to
up.
put us in a convent. She stood up to him all the time. She got her butt kicked. She put us in a convent for a while to protect us too.
Is your mom still alive?
Yeah, she was in all my videos, Howard.
What do I know?
Well, you should.
But your dad died, your biological father who abandoned you at 5. And you said you feel bad sometimes that you didn't sell out as a recording artist because you would have had a lot more money and you could have afforded at that time to pay for your father's hospital care. Right? You say that in the book.
Well, for all of them, just to take care of everybody.
Why would you want to take care of this man who left you when you were... I think that's beautiful.
Howard.
What? Tell me. Explain it to me.
It's your father.
Your father who left you when you were 5.
He had a divorce. He left the house.
But why couldn't he visit you?
He did visit
He did? Was he good to you?
Did he pay child support?
Yeah, but I'm saying, did he protect you from...
He didn't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because it was never a good time to tell him. And
so he stayed in your life?
Yeah, of course he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he
All
paid
right.
child support.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a lot, but
Right.
who
He
knows
helped
back
out?
then. Yeah.
So you felt bad because if I had more money, I could have taken care of my father.
Well, yeah, my whole family.
I got the sense that you felt unprotected for some reason. When I look at this situation,
you with people who really can't take care, protect themselves. It's an odd way, I think I'm grateful that I was born into a situation that gave me great insight, because now when I sing or if I write about
you have
something,
real pain.
No, I have real understanding about what real people go through.
But I mean,
you can't just dismiss people as the 47%.
Yeah.
That's right. I agree with that. And it just seems the whole thing with men, too. I mean, one boyfriend of yours gave you hepatitis. Again, right? Am I right?
They always came with gifts.
Yeah, now why do you laugh at that? I mean, it's one horrible story after another.
No, because I was in the hospital, right? And they
Right.
thought I had a dog disease because I worked in the pound. They thought because I cleaned up, when you work in the pound, you clean up the vomit and the poop
Yeah, it's
and
not
everything.
fun.
Yeah, but it is because the dogs are so loving. And so they thought I had a rare dog disease. And then I heard a nurse talk to another nurse, and she said, well, what does she have? And she said, she's hepatitis. She said, how did she get it? And she said, she had an affair. And I just felt to myself, all of a sudden, it was like an old movie. I had an affair. It was like Betty Davis. It
Right,
was-
right. Like you were the Scarlet Letter.
Glamorous.
Like no one had ever had an affair.
Well, I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, men are horrible. I read this
I
book, I
didn't
Hate
think
Men.
that.
What, one guy, I think it was the same guy, would tackle you and sit on your chest.
No,
And
different fella.
A different guy, another winner. Another
A
winner.
friend. He would fart on my head. It was not so good.
And he'd say, now can you hear?
Oh, no, that was a boyfriend.
Yeah, a boyfriend.
Yeah, poor thing.
He would say, poor thing. You think he's the poor thing.
Well, you know why? Because I got out and I was able to become who I was meant to become.
Do you ever Facebook these guys? And are you friends with them on
Why?
Facebook? I don't know. Just curiosity to see what they look like?
No.
I don't know. I mean, it's just horrible. The whole story is sad.
I didn't think it was so sad.
Well,
it's
it's
not
a
like
story of
Cyndi
tribe.
Havisham. There's other things in there.
By the way, it's interesting, too, your take on the WWE. I would think that, like, Vince McMahon and his wife would be great friends of yours. But you were disgusted when Vince McMahon's wife ran for office, and you made an excellent point. You said, why would she run for office, a job that essentially is taking care of people, when wrestlers don't even have health insurance?
Well, they're not taken care of very well. But, I mean, listen, it's an entertainment thing, and they hire them as independent contractors. But when you see them, you know, some of them hobbling, and still their love for it. They love it so much.
They love the occupation. They love being entertainers. They love wrestling.
And they love wrestling.
Right.
And that's part for me is sad.
But you're negative about Vince and his wife, I guess.
Was I negative in the book?
No, but you have made the statement that,
I
you know,
said, yeah, the
it's unusual.
whole the whatever, the senator
Running for Senate.
thing. Yeah, that's scary. But, you know, listen, I understand the wrestling thing, but when you start to step out and want to run the state, that's frightening.
Well, yeah. So, getting back to this amazing career, time after time, an amazing story. I think that's one of the greatest songs ever, Time After Time. Anne Murray turned that song down.
No. You see, what happens to the facts? You didn't really read the
Give me
book.
the, well, you know, I'm sketchy.
What are you
Right.
doing, Howard? You're just making things up.
No, I'm not. Come on. Cindy, what do I don't know
Robin, the
everything.
facts are
I'm a
changed
judge
to
on a
protect
talent
the
show.
ignorant. All right.
Go
No.
ahead. Yeah.
No, he
What
didn't.
are the facts of that?
The facts are, Time After Time was a song that was written for the She's So Unusual album, and True Colors was a song that was pitched to Anne Murray.
Right.
And it was kind of...
So I'm right. Go ahead
actually,
so far.
You said Time After Time
Oh,
was...
okay. I got the name of the song.
That's
I'm sorry.
pretty intense.
Well,
That's
come on.
pretty
Listen,
big.
I'm not living your life. You can correct me.
No, that's a big,
All right, go ahead.
big part that's
Right.
different.
Yes.
And True Colors had come, and my friend Gregory had passed away, and you know they were my very close friends. So at that age, when you have friends, you think you're gonna live forever, I guess, and be old and sipping mint juleps. Not that I like what that tastes like, but the idea of it at the Pink Hotel somewhere, you know.
Right.
And it didn't happen, so we were very sad, and we had the funeral. I was doing the song, and all of a sudden I stripped the song down because it was, it was pitched for Anne Murray, so it sounded like country, western, gospel. So I just was working with Peter Wood at the time. Did you ever know Peter?
No.
Well, anyway, he
I don't
was a
know anybody.
wonderful keyboard player at that time, and he played with Roger Waters, and anyway.
Right.
So he I said, just make the chords that we use. So he kind of did different voicings, and I stripped it down and just sang with the keyboard. And then when I went back into the studio, Lenny was working with me, and I said, I just want the voice to be like when someone's driving in a car, you hear it in your ear like a whisper, and everything in the song has to call to your soul. So I put a drum sound that was kind of an archaic, like an old, sounded like an ancient drum,
Right.
call to the soul, and then kind of whisper in their ear, and it was a healing song. So I thought that would be the best way to heal people on a medium that does not have that kind of music on it ever.
Right.
And so, Girls Just Want to Have Fun kind of healed people too. And it didn't have that kind of sound on it ever either. So I took a chance. And of course, the promotion guys were like, "Son, where's the music? Come on, you're killing me."
Right.
But it couldn't take a lot of music, because once it did, when the lyric is that honest and deep and sentimental,
You strip it
can't-
down.
Yeah, you don't put more sentimentality on top of it or over sing it, because then it becomes sticky and cheesy and schmaltzy.
I feel a lot of music today is schmaltzy.
I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they think that's what sells. They kind of undermine the people or underestimate the people.
But maybe it's because the singers aren't as good. Maybe they're afraid to
know.
strip down. When you strip down and take away some of that instrumentation and on the effects, suddenly it's all about the voice,
Well, I thought it would be good. It would be an interesting, like, scientific experiment almost, of seeing if you could talk to people's soul. And you listen to the radio all the time. Why not do a healing thing, something bigger than you? So I tried to make a song. I didn't write it, but I heard in the words something that was bigger.
How many records did you sell? Do you know the figure? Do you keep track of that kind of thing? No. It must be an inordinate amount of records. Huge.
No.
You don't know? You're not curious?
I don't know. I remember when they first came out, it was never good enough. I was never, why aren't you more like Madonna? And I'm not. I didn't want to.
Were you nervous about sales? Did you consider the business side of things?
Oh, my God, yeah, because it had everything to do with our home life. Because if I wasn't successful, that meant my fiancé was not successful. So
you felt that pressure. You were carrying everyone on your back, so to speak. I mean,
little,
yeah. That's a lot of pressure to go through. That's
probably
a
lot of pressure on a relationship.
Yeah, where you feel like, gee, is he here for me? Or if I screw this up, is everyone going to abandon me? Don't you think some of that goes on?
I didn't think about the abandonment thing.
Right.
I just felt about making people unhappy.
Is your favorite song that you do the True Colors?
Oh.
To me, that's my favorite one you do.
Really, I like Sally's Pigeons. I like.
I feel that is your most raw performance.
Oh, it's naked.
Yeah.
It's naked. I like the blues stuff, too, because it was different. I like everything. I don't like to do the same thing over and over, so I don't think about my favorite. It becomes your favorite as you... I have a long career.
Yeah, but when you do a concert, there's certain songs you have to do or the audience will walk away pissed.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't do that to them because you need to celebrate. But whatever the style, like when I had all the old blues guys with me,
right?
I did Girls Just Want to Have Fun in a kind of blues funky way because it was fun, really fun.
Right.
And True Colors, I had Charlie Musselwhite play harmonica. And I would sing to that and play a little dulcimer too.
Do you work on your voice still? Do you take any kind of vocal? Did you ever take vocal lessons? You did.
I still study.
You still
with
do.
Katie.
Why do you do that? Because as you get older, you've got to be very careful of that instrument, right?
No, you know what? No, not because as you get older, because as you work more. When you first start, everything's about your voice. So you go to your vocal lessons, or you do your voice, or you make sure you're not doing promotion and touring at the same time. Everything is about you're a singer.
But is it fatiguing worrying about your voice all the time? Do you constantly do you keep your voice at a very low tone?
No.
You can you go to a game and scream and yell and not worry your voice is going to get
I don't know if
wrecked?
I would want to scream and yell. I went back to Katie after a while because I did The Apprentice. I felt like it really messed up my voice. There was everything like environmental stuff that irritated my throat and too much talking.
But don't you think that's a little bit of lead singer disease? They always talk about lead singer disease, LSD, lead singer disease.
What is that?
That the lead singers are neurotic about their voice. Of course they are. They've got to work.
That's all there is.
But I mean, oh my God, when you say to a non-performer, oh, the environment, it's polluting my voice, it's changing my voice, I can't raise, I need a day of vocal rest, I need 2 days of vocal. Everything revolves around that voice.
Isn't it great? But nowadays it's not. It hasn't been like that. I have, unfortunately, all these things like I have to leave for Chicago tomorrow because I've been writing music for the musical Kinky Boots, and so I write with my voice. And
you're writing that with Harvey Fierstein, right?
Harvey Fierstein wrote the book, and I'm writing the music, and Jerry Mitchell is the director. And now we have this amazing cast. It's
a brilliant story. I know about it. Kinky Boots.
I've seen that movie. It's based on a movie. Yeah.
Kinky Boots is the story of a guy who has a crappy business. He's a shoe business. He's going out of business, and he figures out he's going to make shoes for transvestites so that they can have big, oversized shoes, sexy heels and things. So it's Kinky Boots.
He finds a niche market that's underserved.
Right. And it's fascinating. And so you wrote the music, and that's going to be a play that I guess eventually will make its way to Broadway, right?
It's going to be at the Hirschfield Theater, and I guess the previews are in March. And right now it's previewing in Chicago, and I'm going to go there tomorrow to still adjust the music. And, because we have these performers, like you write the song, but then you get these wonderful people who, it's like a dress. You can't just put on a dress. You got to have it fitted to you. So, Billy Porter is Lola, and Stark Sands is Charlie, and you have this wonderful supporting cast of people. I tell you.
Hey, will you be you're in the show?
I'm not in
You're not
the
at
show.
all in it at all.
I'm writing
You just wrote the music.
Yeah.
Big bucks in this kind of thing, or no?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You act like you don't know, but you know. Are you a wealthy woman? Are you a very wealthy woman?
No.
You are not. Why is that? You're a recognized name. You're a big star. You were in movies. You made music. You did it all. How are you not a wealthy woman?
Well, I never got the big deals that a lot of people got.
Who are we talking about? Like a Madonna type deal?
Well, no, like when they were doing those deals where they'd sign a person for multimedia, and I was never, like, no matter what. I
Really?
think my representation was really bad for a while.
But when you had all these when you were topping the charts, don't you go out on tour and then sock it in? Isn't that the plan?
I thought I was, but I wouldn't I wouldn't sell out, and I wouldn't, like, invest in things that I thought was wrecking the rainforest, and I didn't want.
What do you mean you wouldn't sell out? You mean you wouldn't?
Well, like, in the beginning, Howard, you didn't accept any kind of sponsorship from a corporation.
Right.
Because if you did, that was kind of...
It wasn't cool.
Yeah. And right after me, everyone sold out.
Went corporate.
Well, the Stones, I remember, then started taking...
corporate.
They went
Everyone
corporate. Very corporate. Corporations started sponsoring a lot of tours. You're right.
Yeah. And then so I said, okay, well, what about if we go to Kodak and ask Kodak if they'd sponsor the True Colors tour, because the song True Colors and all the color we use
ties in.
And they said no. And then afterwards, when my tour was over, they went to Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly and asked them to use the song, and they must have heard me sing it live because I sang it a cappella.
Right.
So they got a little kid to sing it a cappella live for them, for their commercial.
And you didn't get it?
No.
Ay vey.
No, it was like little things like that all the time. And yeah, does my son say, Ma, what happened?
Does your son understand who you are? How old is your son now?
Oh, he understands. He's 15. He's in the reality show with me and David.
When he, that's
kind of...
Is it hard on your ego when the kid starts in with you? Yeah, I mean, come on, you're a big star.
Can I tell you something? You
Yeah.
have kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
No.
Do you, when you walk in the house with your kids, you leave that
You
big
turn it
star
off.
shit outside.
That's right. You try to. You hope it doesn't get involved,
No,
because
it
then you're a
doesn't.
disaster. Kids, your big star is home.
I know. You try and forget. The dog doesn't care, I'll tell you that.
Are
much.
you gonna? You're really gonna do the reality show thing with
I
your husband?
did
You
it.
did it, and
I'm still, we're still filming a little.
Why open yourself up to that?
I had liked Mark Burnett's People, and I didn't.
After The Apprentice, you liked it.
No, I had signed with him before The
Oh,
Apprentice.
really?
I had gone
I'm surprised
to him,
you did The Apprentice.
Well, because I did it for the True Colors Fund, and it was able to fund the Give a Damn campaign.
Okay.
And I think I helped a lot of people with the Give a Damn campaign with the help of the people that worked with me. But we worked hard to try and help people. But
Was it a positive experience doing The Apprentice, or did you hate most of the people?
I didn't hate the people. No, I really.
You don't get
liked-
along with a lot of people, true? Didn't you meet Bruce Springsteen at some point in your career and it went horribly?
love Bruce
But didn't it go
Springsteen.
terribly? Wasn't the story that you
I went to a horrible Seder.
you went to a Seder?
It wasn't
A showbiz
just-
Seder.
Yeah, that was bad.
And what happened? Bruce was there.
No, all these people were at this table, and it was so awful. They were the people I could never. I didn't even want to talk, because what was I going to say?
Wait
There's
a
nobody
second.
to talk to.
Back up. You were invited to Walter Yetnikoff's house.
Yeah, no.
Was it not at Walter's?
No,
Where
it
was
was at this restaurant where they had all these tables, and everybody was gonna, what they call it, mishbucha. What does that mean?
Family.
Yeah, so everybody was going to be mishbucha, and we were all supposed to sit there. It was Easter Sunday, and we eating stuff. I don't know.
Now,
The
why were you
pancakes
uncomfortable?
Were good. The potato
If Bruce
pancakes were good.
Springsteen is there,
He wasn't sitting with me, hon.
all right, but he's in the room.
He comes in. I went up to him and his new wife at the time.
Julianne
obviously,
Phillips.
That wasn't going good.
Right.
And I said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you guys are here. It was really rough. I'm sitting at that table. I couldn't talk to anybody, and the women only talk when they're spoken to, and when they do talk, they only talk. They're so fearful. They only talk about their husbands. There's nothing to say to anybody. There's Pia Isadora and her husband, who does the female wrestling and thanks me. And you ever watch his show? All he does is the crotch shots. I was like, I can't even, you can't imagine. And she turned around and looked at me. She said, I know what you mean. And then Bruce looked at me and gave me a dirty look. And I'm thinking in my heart sank and broke in a million pieces, because I remember Rosalita and making beds when I was a housekeeper.
You thought you had a
singing.
soulmate in Bruce, and he would understand you.
And he looked at me like that, and I'm thinking, E2, Bruce A.
E2, Bruce A.
He's actually...
So in other
I had
words...
met him a time before, and he was really nice. That's why it was so surprising.
In other words, you felt Bruce, out of all the people in the room, would understand the awkwardness and the tension in the room for
He's
you.
a rocker.
And yet he looked at you like, how
He
dare
left you out
you?
there. Yeah.
He left you out there. He was
Yeah.
like, this woman, I don't know what the fuck she's talking
Yeah,
about.
then I felt like E2, Bruce A.
Yeah.
And then, I became...
Maybe Bruce thought you were being disrespectful. You should get into the spirit of the thing, try to have some fun, and not
tell
turn
you
everything
something,
into
Howard.
drama.
There's some really fabulous satyrs, and that wasn't one of them.
Was Bruce wearing a yarmulke?
No.
He was not.
He's in a leather jacket. He
How
was
dare
dressed
he?
as a rocker.
But he was acting corporate.
I don't know. He was strange, but
You will never work with Jessica Simpson again. After you worked with her on the Divas special, you were...
So you watch Bravo, huh?
Well, come on. Why not? What happened there with Jessica Simpson?
No, she's all right. She's got
She's
her
not
own
your
little
type
world.
of person.
She's not my type of talent either.
Did you get along with everyone on The Apprentice show?
I tried.
You didn't, did you?
I love Sharon.
When are you going to learn to play with others? You love
did.
Sharon Osbourne.
I love her.
Well, she's terrific.
And they didn't even afford her. They'd be talking about our business like we weren't there and we didn't know about our business. We knew more about our business than those guys dreamt about.
Because a lot of times men who run the business don't like to
these
hear...
were women.
Other women?
I wanted to be friends with this one of them because her hair was so awesome.
Yeah.
And the more I tried, the
You
more
don't
it
connect well
wasn't-
with some people. And listen, that's
Listen, I
that's
tried.
life.
No.
I don't connect with so well with
Howard,
people
your
either.
high school
You're out
never
there.
stops. When you think
Right.
outside the box, it ain't just your clothes. Because I tried to fit in.
Did kids make fun of you in high school?
In high school, a little bit, yeah.
Why, you
right.
dressed differently? Were
no,
you original?
I just, at one point, I checked out.
You checked out.
I couldn't take it. I hated it.
When you were doing your topless dancing, why did you choose the name Carrot?
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top.
Because my hair was red.
I see.
And it didn't matter. You just made up any old name.
I wish I could have seen you topless dance. I would have been honored.
Of course. Don't you have a table at Scores?
I don't have a table of scores, but I'm going to get one very soon. Is it true Annie Leibovitz shot did a nude photo shoot with you? Where is that? Where can I look that up on the internet?
Oh, I got all of them.
You have them all.
But I
You
don't
never
know where
released
they
it.
are now.
Is that
because-
true? Annie says to you, "Hey, Cyndi."
No, I said because I wanted to make art, and she was such an artist.
She is.
And I thought we can make art, like John and Yoko. I wanted to make art,
Right.
and that didn't.
What happened? You hated the pictures?
No, I didn't. Yeah, it was kind of dopey. She wasn't at her best. And then we did the True Colors album,
Right.
and that was beautiful.
But the nude thing was an
That was
attempt.
nude.
And so you said to her, "Annie, I want these pictures. You give them to me." And
No,
she,
the record company, the people at the record company just gave them to me.
they did because they owned them.
Yeah.
That was nice. Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, you got
Yes?
those under your
Yeah,
control.
because who the hell, you can't use them for anything.
I want to see those. I want to see what happened when you try to make art. I have a feeling it was too pornographic. Too.
No, it wasn't.
No? Why didn't you like them? You just didn't like the way your body looked?
Yeah, they weren't, it was okay. It wasn't great.
There was no art.
Well, it was trying, but we didn't make.
They
we
didn't achieve art.
Yeah, they didn't get
they
there.
made an attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Dylan, when you met him,
I love Bob Dylan.
I thought you were. I kind of got the vibe maybe you were disappointed because he said to you, "You're not one of those bra burners, are you?"
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, card carrying. But I said, listen, I said, being a woman, I would think I got to be concerned. If I'm not concerned about my civil liberties, who else will be? And he turned around and said, yeah. And I'm thinking, I didn't say
What a
anything.
conversation.
I didn't. Well, you know why? It was one of, listen, if you think that I got tortured because in your heyday, when you first become famous, everybody's really nice, phony, not phony.
Right.
And then later on, they like to give you the old,
Knife in the back.
knife in the back. And then, everybody goes through it. And maybe they were treating Dylan in those days not like he should have been treated.
But isn't it amazing when you meet some of because you're in the position you're in and you're a great artist.
Meet them.
But isn't
Don't
it
meet your
amazing?
heroes,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Isn't it amazing when you finally meet your heroes? They're just people. And do you ever say to yourself, how could that guy have written those songs? He's not that deep, and he doesn't seem to have simpatico.
No, he is deep. The problem was when he was growing up, the civil rights movement did not include women. He did not understand that women also needed to be free. And people today still think, well, what's wrong? They got everything. Yeah, you can't get paid the same. You know, there's a glass ceiling. You have to know your place.
But don't you find it amazing that some of the guys who have written some of the greatest love songs and beautiful, insightful lyrics are usually sometimes big assholes, right?
Well, sometimes they were born in the wrong generation.
Is that it? But how can they
You're
be
very
so
forgiving.
How
No,
could they
but
be? But
Robin-
Cyndi, how could they be so evolved?
They're not.
But how do they come up with those brilliant lyrics if they don't?
Because sometimes the best part of people is in their work. Like Picasso.
Right.
He was a real shit.
He was horrible, He was a yeah. shit?
He was
Picasso?
a shit.
God.
He
Yes.
was awful to women.
Was he? How do I know that? I mean, I don't know.
Don't you know your history?
Cindy, look
You
at me.
gotta
Do I
know
look like
your
I know history? I read comic books my entire life.
But Howard,
what
you're
history do I
talking
know?
to all these people. You gotta know.
People aren't interested in
He never
Picasso.
talked to
They want to hear
Picasso.
dick jokes. You know that.
Okay.
You What can I tell you?
All right. So buy my book, but there's no jokes like that.
All right. So you love. All right. Let's leave it at
But
that.
you should have read the book.
Cindy, listen. I just got in today. I'm
All
going to get the
right,
book.
so
Now
go
I'm
on.
interested.
I did write you a little inscription.
Did you write the book yourself, or did you use a like a co-writer?
Well, when it says Cyndi Lauper and Jancy Dunn, what do you think?
How involved was Jancy? What was the process? You
Well, I didn't want her to. They said, well, you'll have a ghostwriter. I said, the woman's not dead.
She's not a ghost.
So I don't like to take credit for somebody else's work. That ain't my thing.
No, of course
So
not.
did you talk it and
yeah,
he wrote it?
We
Yeah.
did interviews.
Right.
And then when I read it, I realized, oh my God, you know, some of the stuff
Very
she
honest
took,
book.
some of the stuff she took from stuff I had been writing, and a lot of it was interviews. And then I realized, you know, the one thing you didn't tell her, which you said you were never going to say, you may as well explain why you're the way you are. So I wrote about my childhood a little bit, just to give.
You wrote about it a lot.
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 2 chapters. Well,
That's right.
yeah, I wrote that so that people would understand when they said about girls just want to have fun.
Was there a moment when they were vetting the book that they took something out that you wanted in that they took out?
Well, I think my editor was really sensitive. Amy, she was really sensitive about a lot of things.
You
like-
mean, in other words, she felt that you had gone too far?
No.
What? Then what did she feel?
No, she was editing stuff, but I said, listen, if you're going to edit stuff, you have to have all this other stuff so that it's not just a tell-all book. You don't want to make a tell-all book.
No. You want to have
make
some
something-
insight.
Yeah.
All right, look, let's get to some interesting things here. Cindy's Sally Pigeons and Springsteen's... I see. Oh, what is this?
What?
Cindy, Sally Pigeons, and what is this?
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know. Cyndi Lauper's book, A Memoir, is in stores now.
Yes.
That's it? A memoir.
That's a memoir.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it like, you know, a title of a song. I thought that'd be really corny. And
See Cyndi, well, don't see her, but the musical Kinky Boots will be something that she wrote, the music.
yeah,
Previewing
yeah, I had partners with that too. With the music.
Harvey Firestein.
No, he didn't write the music.
He
I had
wrote the
partners
book,
Oh,
in the music.
Well, that's what I'm
like-
saying, but he's also your partner in the play. I mean,
Yes,
he wrote the
he
play.
is.
Yeah.
He's the one that I did it because of him.
Right. And usually when he's involved, the thing's a hit, right?
Well, he's a wonderful storyteller.
The show is called Kinky Boots. For tickets, you go to kinkybootsthemusical.com.
Right.
And look for Cindy's reality show, Still So Unusual.
Yeah, I made him change it to Still So Unusual because I figured beat him to the punch.
You are unusual. You are. You're quirky.
A little
But
quirky.
that's what makes you interesting and creative.
The reality show, did they come up with shtick for you to do, or do you none of that?
I have a busy life, Howard, so I just tell them, come with me.
And you don't turn off the cameras when things get intense? If you have an argument with your husband, David, or you have a...
David is the easiest.
You never argue with him.
Oh, I do, but
Will the
it's not
arguments
about...
be on the show?
I don't know. There's no arguments.
Cyndi, we want the real thing.
Oh, you do have the real thing.
That's right.
So.
Look for Cindy's reality show, Still So Unusual, on We TV.
We, women's entertainment.
Everything women.
Not really.
No?
No, that show, the show has a lot of, like, David and Deck just appeared a little bit, and then the network went crazy and said, "Oh my God," you know.
Well, we see great things, like weird things, like where you're hitting your kid with a hanger or something like that. Is there anything? Will we see that?
Well, I did the Kentucky Derby, and unfortunately, I dropped the F-bomb, which you could see on YouTube. Well, you know, they didn't tell me it was a live mic.
Oh my God!
Like, and they kept doing. You know how these parades are.
Shame on you.
Yeah, and my son then, the F-bomb.
Oh,
my son turned around and said, "Mom, Dad always says, if you don't curse when it's not important, you won't curse when it is important not to."
Your husband's a great guy. I know him. I like him very much.
He said to say hello.
Please say hello to him for me. And I look forward to seeing this reality show. I want to see what you're up to at home.
Well, it's not really, but it follows me at work.
Will there be nudity?
Oh, no, there's not.
Back in the clubs.
Have you met President Obama? You sound like you're a huge supporter of his. Have you met him?
I met him once, when he was signing the hate crimes amendment.
I see. So you are personal friends with the president?
No, I said to him, I heard you open for Gaga. And he looked at me and he said, "What are you doing here? Why aren't you singing?" And he said, "Oh, you know," he was very sweet.
Did he invite you to a Seder?
No.
No, all right.
Listen, my friend Howard Kaplan had a Seder, and it was a dress-up Seder.
Right.
And it was awesome. I went as the child. I wore a schoolgirl uniform, and I brought my ukulele, and I sang Kumbaya / Let My People Go. And my friend Chris Tanner, who's a performance artist, he went as the Pharaoh and sang The Jews Belong to Me. There was a lot of Moseses there.
Wow, it sounds
every Seder's not like
that. And they
that's
were
a very
reading
unusual.
from the Bible. We ate potato latkes and we read from the Bible. And there was other food, but it wasn't as good as the potatoes.
I see.
No.
By the way, I didn't even bring up that you accused Bruce Springsteen of stealing the loop of one of your songs. True or false?
That's...
What?
Okay. I didn't accuse him.
Right.
This is what happened. I went on a photo shoot, and Patty was there, his wife.
Patty, yes.
And I had just been working on Hatful of Stars. And it was like a folk song or a soft song with a loop under it.
Right.
And Patty, I was playing it so I could take a photo shoot that would look like how the album sounded. And she looked at me and she said, "Sin, she commented on the loop and everything." And then a couple months later, Philadelphia was out and it had a loop, and it was at a time where not a lot of people were using the loops.
Did you consider a lawsuit?
Why would you do a lawsuit?
I don't
Everybody, listen, at that time, people were using loops, but it was just a weird coincidence.
Well, you might have influenced them.
It's fine.
Listen, Cindy's book is filled with horror stories.
It was still a good... It's not. It has funny things.
I didn't even bring up the worst stuff.
But what about the funny stuff?
Worst thing in there?
I know it is.
Your band member who assaulted you with a dildo.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man. Some of these people should be in jail, I got a feeling, after this book.
If you don't call the cops right away...
But Cyndi...
It's hearsay. That's what I was told.
It's depressing.
Yeah, but there's other things. At least
I understand. And I admire you for putting it in there. I honestly do.
Well, what do you want me not to say anything?
No, I admire this. But it's sad. It's a sad life.
But it had some great stuff, too.
Robin, imagine you're in a band.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Cyndi trying to do? She's trying to be successful. She's trying to work with musicians.
Make everybody successful, right?
They hold her down and they're assaulting her with sex toys.
Me?
I mean, against her will. I
Well,
mean,
it wasn't just a guy, it was 2 women.
2 women with the guy.
Which is
What
like
in the
God
world?
telling you it's not just men.
What did you think of that? I mean, what do you say to somebody after they do something? Were they doing it like
I
hitting
said,
them?
why?
And what did they say?
Oh, she wanted to make him happy.
She wanted to make her boyfriend happy. So, in other words, he wanted to see you guys get it
Who
on.
knows? I don't know.
Maron.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But there was never any. You never got back at any of these people.
Do you keep playing with them?
No, I did at the time because
my
I
God.
thought it was a way they would, it was a power struggle, and I wasn't going to give up singing just because this happened. And so I stayed and made a plan of how I knew it would take me 8 to 10 years to be successful.
But you never got the dildo and then clobbered them. You
I
never
almost did, and then I dropped it.
Give me
and
their names. I'll
realized-
fix them with that dildo.
Can I tell you what happened?
What?
In the end,
Yeah.
I became successful.
So what?
They did not.
Yeah.
No, it's
so
not a
that's
so what. That's
what?
amazing.
No, it is amazing that you became. But I don't like that these people go unpunished. I mean, this is outrageous. What would happen to you?
Life.
Life.
Life punishes you.
Yeah. Look at my
Because
face.
It teaches you.
You want to see punishment?
It doesn't. It teaches you.
I mean, good
You
Lord.
gotta, and honestly, I put it in there because, when you go on auditions, if you want to go, don't go alone.
No, and also it's very inspiring that you kept going on. I mean, other people might have stopped.
When people tell me life was too hard, bullshit. You're gonna be a shoulda, coulda, woulda person. You
Right.
you don't want to be beaten down by things.
Have you ever
look
confronted
at
your
it-
stepfather, the guy who?
I don't even want to. I don't talk about.
You want me
it.
to confront him?
No.
Or
You know what?
I'll protect
I'm sure
you.
he's old and decrepit.
who even knows if he's alive?
Right,
We
now
don't
you
even-
can handle
the other
him.
thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, when
Now
you're
you
a
can
kid,
handle
it's
him.
different.
Right.
You are something else, baby. You are something else.
I'm tough.
You are a
You're
tough
an
broad.
inspiration.
Yeah.
But that's why I
You've been
wrote
through it.
that, so that other people who if we all shared our stories, then I grew up in a time where there was women consciousness raising. So you listen to other women's stories and you learn from them.
I find a lot of women aren't supportive of other women. I mean,
That happens, and that's
Yes.
what happened at The Apprentice, which really made me upset because
it shows you.
sisterhood is powerful. I
Shows you
thought.
things haven't changed, even on a dopey fucking
Well,
reality
a
show.
lot
You
of
see
women
true
were-
colors. That's
But
what true
wait a
colors.
minute, Howard.
That's what True Colors, Robin, is about.
Well, the
True
thing
Colors
is that.
about
Oh.
Well, see now,
Rising
but the
up.
thing is,
I missed
Howard,
that.
women are raised in
a society,
this society.
that
they
makes you
take on
turn.
the same learning.
That's right,
that-
Robin.
That men have about
I taught
women.
Robin that.
And you get
think.
that reaction. So now stop it.
Look at you. Meanwhile, you look good. That's what's most important. Remember
Oh,
that.
thank you.
You're goddamn right. All right, look, Cyndi, you've entered enough.
Have I?
Yes.
But there's some funny things in the book.
Well, no one wants to hear that. We like the more salacious stuff.
It's more Cyndi.
We'd rather hear
have a
about
sham.
Cyndi being assaulted than laughing. Well, there's a lot of other stories in there, like Cyndi posing nude for a college art class, but we'll get to that another time.
Wow.
I was the first streaker in my college.
I believe
Female
it.
streaker.
You must have some body you're busy showing it off to everybody.
No, when you're young, it doesn't matter.
You're constantly nude in the book. I mean, I mean, really.
Naked.
Keep your clothes on. Good for you. You're a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
All right.
Right. And the book is called A Memoir. Cyndi Lauper's book is called A Memoir.
Well,
It's
it is.
It's essentially a memoir.
What do you mean, essentially? It is a memoir, you silly.
Are there pictures in the book?
Yeah, tons
Any
of them.
nudes?
No.
Oh, too bad.
Well, one that's very,
The Annie Leibovitz pictures should have been in there. Would have sold 1 billion copies. He's sitting on Easy Street right now, honey. All right, look.
Well, did you look at the book?
I refuse to look at the book. Why would I ever read a book?
But it has
I
nice
might learn
pictures.
something. Of course, I'm
Alan.
going to read the book.
No, it has nice pictures.
It does good. All right. Well, listen, I'm sure if you're involved, there's good pictures. Cyndi, I love you.
I love you too, Howard.
I'm sorry some
What?
of your life has been so hard.
Howard.
And I want to say something now.
There's good and there's bad, but there's
Sure it
still a
is.
lot of good.
I haven't found
Everything
it
that
yet.
happened to her made her who she is today.
That's right. And that's why
At least you're pretty. Look at my face. Imagine what life was like for me.
Did they tease you a lot?
Tease me?
You were taller.
I was beaten senselessly.
How could you be
They ran him
beaten if you
by
were
town.
By women, the very women you defend.
Really?
Yes, I was beaten up by women.
Oh, that's
What
too
women?
bad.
Yeah. Imagine
I don't
getting
know.
that.
He's
What, Robin? You know, in
Like
my
gangs
neighborhood,
of women beat him
girls,
up.
not gangs, one-on-one.
It ain't right.
And it's not right. It's emasculating. And look, I want to say something to Bruce Springsteen if he's listening.
He is a great talent.
Bruce,
and,
when you're at a Seder,
he has
excuse me.
children now. He has daughters.
Bruce, when you're at a Seder, put on a yarmulke, for God's sakes. And if Cindy's having a hard time,
Help her out.
help her out. Don't abandon her. She's trying to relate to you, artist. But I'm going to tell you this.
He's a nice guy.
I heard Bruce Springsteen is very fun at Sukkot, which is a very...
What is that?
That's where you go in a 3-walled hut, and there's fruit on top, and Bruce comes to life in a Sukkot.
What do you mean?
It's a religious
his
holiday.
holiday.
That's his holiday. He's not big on Seders.
Really?
If you went to a Sukkot with him
I don't know if
at
I
Walter
like that.
Yetnikov's house, you would have a
Really?
really good
he
time.
has that? Oh.
Right. Look, there's a lot
Is
of things.
anything that's like a Catholic thing there?
No, Bruce.
mean, I'm
Bruce
recovering
Bruce is
anyway.
Jewish. He's a Steen, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, but he's also Italian.
That's true. I don't believe
Springsteen,
that.
is he Jewish?
I don't know.
He's Italian Jew.
Yeah, that's right. There's many other stories I couldn't get to in Cindy's book.
That's why you
Even
leave
more
them
horrible,
wanting,
more
and
horrible stories.
They go
Please,
out and
Cindy.
look for the book.
Some terrible things in there. I felt you had an abortion. We didn't
When
even
I
talk-
was a kid, yeah.
I felt bad.
I wouldn't have got pregnant if I thought I'd get pregnant. They said I couldn't get pregnant.
Did you ever?
Who said you couldn't
get pregnant?
Well, you know, when you go for all the examinations and doctors, you have this and this, and it's not going to be easy to get pregnant.
What country did you go to a doctor?
Yeah,
The
really.
doctor sounds terrible.
70s.
Yeah. And he told you couldn't get pregnant. You got pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you have nightmares about that? Because I know you would probably
I wanted that kid, but, it didn't happen.
wasn't the right time. I don't think.
No.
Whose baby was it?
It was Richie's.
Richie?
My boyfriend at the time, who was in the band, and
Oh, yeah.
he didn't want to have a kid. So what are you
Did
going to
he
do?
know? Did you
Have a
insult
kid?
him?
Yeah.
You did.
What do you want to have a kid with somebody you don't want to have a kid?
No.
I don't want to have another person that doesn't feel wanted.
Let me tell you something. A couple of people I know should have had abortions. They're terrible parents. All right, listen.
I don't know if I'm a great parent. I'm trying.
I think you're a great parent. From what I hear, I asked David about you.
David's wonderful.
He says you're okay as a parent. All right, look.
You're
okay.
You're just
Cindy.
making it up. You're riffing right
I'm
now.
riffing,
Yeah,
baby.
you're riffing.
We're flying, man.
Well,
Look.
it's always good to see you, too.
It's good seeing you.
I'm sorry you felt it was sad. I thought I put enough funny stuff
No,
in
you're
there.
a triumph. Your life is a triumph. You're a wonderful artist. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you.
And God bless you.
Gosh, I hope you like this music. There's some stuff in there that I think
We'll see.
we really got good. I'm writing with that guy, Sammy James, from Mooney Suzuki.
And he didn't tackle you. He didn't sit on your
No,
head. He
he's
didn't...
younger than me. He's a good kid.
Nice guy.
He's a good kid.
All right, thank God, because that could be the second book.
No.
All right, Cyndi Lauper's book, a memoir, is in stores now. We got to take a break. Then I'll do a little news with Robin. And
All right.
And then that's the end of my day. All right, we'll be back right after these words.
Cindy, I just want to ask you about something you mentioned.
Could you do me a favor?
Surely.
Put the camera
Bring it up a little
oh,
bit.
yeah, it's much more
You got it.
attractive.
A
Okay.
better angle for it? Okay.
Thank you.
When you were talking about your childhood and some of the difficulties you went through, and you said it's always a good story as long as you live through it.
Yeah.
That's a really amazing perspective to have on something when you're going through all these tough times. Where do you draw all that positivity from?
I don't know if I'm positive all the time, but when you're in it, I don't know. I'm Italian. I'm Sicilian.
But you're able to look back on like really, really tough times and say that and mean it.
You know what? You must never let a no or an obstacle really stop you if you want to do something. Depends on how stubborn you want to be about it. You want to do something, you always find your way around the brick wall. There is always a way around. There are many ways to skin a cat, and you always have to remember that. And that's what I try and tell my kid, and that's what I try and tell other younger artists coming up.
That's a really cool message. Best of luck with your memoir.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you again.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
is a Howard TV original production.
On this episode, Medicated Pete decides to get a toupee. Will the procedure go as planned? And most of all, what will Howard think?
So what's with Medicated Pete's toupee?
It's interesting looking.
What's your problem?
Testing 1, 2. Baba Booey.
Yeah.
Hey-oh, yeah.
I came up with the idea of getting a hairpiece when I was thinking about bettering myself with the ladies. Having a hairpiece would give me more confidence and just more self-esteem.
My name is Karan. I own Hair Enhancement Studios. I'm currently located inside of the Cactus Hair Salon. I've been doing hair replacement for over 30 years. I originally met Pete back in January. I had been working with Benji and Elisa with their hair and makeup.
I first met Karan at a Benji Elisa's show, and we got to talking about hair pieces and everything.
He was relentless. He was like, really, you know, can I have your number? I really want to find out about hair.
It so happens that I have this appointment now to get this hair done, so it's pretty interesting. When I was heading out to the Cactus Salon and Spa, I was pretty nervous, pretty anxious at the same time. I was really looking forward to doing this.
Hi,
how are you?
You must be Pete, right?
I'm Pete.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet you.
nice
I'm
to meet
Sam.
you.
Come with me and I'll bring you down to Karan.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
You excited?
Nervous though.
A little nervous, don't be nervous.
Yeah.
You'll do good.
When I first walked in, I saw Karan's assistant, Samantha. I couldn't take my eyes off her the whole time. I was just really taken aback by her.
Sam brings Pete down to our private area of the salon where we do the hair replacement. And her job is to fill out a medical history form with all the clients.
Do you have any allergies? I'm just going to go down the line. If you have them, let me know. Lanolin, bacitracin ointment.
No.
PABA.
I don't know what that is. But
You don't? All right, I don't think you have it. Right?
No.
Lidocaine.
What is it?
Lidocaine.
I don't know.
Latex rubber is sheepskin.
Ooh, no.
No.
No. We're almost like flirting to a point, and it was kind of cool, and I did have wood. I definitely did.
Are you taking any medications that would affect your blood pressure, like Viagra or Cialis? Is that a no?
Not Viagra, but
Cialis?
I'm fine there, you know. I don't need, you know. My answer was no because I'm full of stamina.
Are you concerned with having your hair fall off during exercising, swimming, or sex?
Definitely during sex. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's a big concern of mine, you know.
You don't want that
But-
hair falling off.
But you know, we'll see. When Samantha was done, she took me into the room with Karan, and at that point we had the actual consultation then. Hey, what's up, Karan? How you doing?
Good, how's everything?
Good to see you.
Come on in, have a seat.
Sure.
This is
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Oh, man.
All right, cool. All right, Pete. So I'm glad we're finally doing this.
Yeah.
During the consultation, I had to ask Pete what he's looking for in terms of the look of his new hair.
Do you like the length that you have over here right now?
A little longer.
You want longer than that? How long do you want?
A little more spikier.
Spikier. Yeah, you want to have like a, yeah, absolutely. You want like a spiky look. Like, to me, the hair, just look in the mirror for a sec. The hair that you have here is a good length. That's a good, like, about a good inch and a quarter, okay? So if you had that all the way into the front area here, it would be like you had spiky hair. Here you have nice density, so we don't even have to really do anything with this. We would just be blending this area to go in with back here. When Pete came in for his consultation, I tried other hair replacements on him so that he could see what he would look like with the hair and also how it felt on his head. All the pieces, when they come in, they're very long. See how long this is?
Yeah.
They all come in like this. Reason being it's so that I can cut it in to design it to the person, custom design it to your own existing hair.
The hair pieces that I did try on were mainly for fun, but she did want to show me, like, what I would look like with a full head of hair.
Again, this is not made for you, okay? So if you could do me a favor, just hold.
Fantastic.
These pieces are used like, movies, and, you see somebody who's bald, and obviously you see them in the movie theater, and they have, like, great head of hair. Do you see how natural that looks?
It does look natural. I'm just like, where that's going to fall off, too,
It'll never fall off. We'll go over attachments, okay? Definitely. Well, are you into, like, rough sex and stuff like that? Because,
kind of, yeah. Yeah.
So, then you gotta worry.
Okay? I'm a menace in bed, Yeah. So, yeah.
The fact that Pete could joke with me during the process of the consultation and the measuring made me feel really good that he was comfortable with me and what he was about to embark on. Yeah, there you go. That's like the typical rocker guy, right? Grunge, right? Yeah, right, exactly. You look more like Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. I just have to fix a little bit. I might have to blow you. Is that okay?
Let me whip it off. Let me whip it down.
I'm just kidding. Come on, feel it.
Sam, what do you think?
I love it. You look like you're like from Wayne's World.
Hot?
Oh, definitely hot.
Hot?
Definitely hot.
Would you do me with this?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know how my boyfriend would like that.
All right. She broke my heart in 8,000 pieces by saying that she had a boyfriend, and that was a little very disheartening.
Towards the end of the consultation, I had instructed Pete exactly what would be happening when he came back for his installation appointment. As far as the pieces that I've, we've gone over and I've talked about to you and everything, there are different ways to attach them. So that's what we're going to discuss next, okay? For you, what I would recommend is I have a medical adhesive. It's built into like a tape formation, and you would come to me for service like once a month or so. As your hair grows, you need a haircut, that type of thing. Yeah. And it gets attached onto the piece, and then I attach it onto you. And you could swim, scuba dive, shower every day, you can go to the gym. Everything you normally do in your life, you can do with that.
Right now I'm feeling a little nervousness and just want to have it go well. Have everything go well.
So how about I measure? You're all set? You think we're good to go and everything? You have any other questions?
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
In order to make a proper hair replacement for a client, what I have to do is make a mold. Just look straight ahead in the mirror, okay? And I'm just going to do this to you, okay? Not going to suffocate you or anything, okay? And then what I need you to do, okay, is to hold these two, to hold those two pieces right there, nice and tight. Okay, you got that? Then what I do is I take a Sharpie and I mark out the area where I actually want the hair to be. Everyone's used to looking at you with this look to begin with, so you don't want to go too far from what you look like now. So you want a receded hairline. So
you do?
You do, yes. It looks more natural that way.
Okay. I've never had saran wrap tied around my head before, so it's pretty. I was like, whoa, what's this?
And I'm just going to ask you, Sam, just to hand these to me, okay? Thank you.
Wow, what a look.
Right?
What a look.
At the end, I take the mold off and I cut it into the shape that the Sharpie had outlined for me. And basically, that's exactly what I send to my manufacturer with the hair samples, and they make for me.
Karan had to cut samples for my hair. And I was like, oh my God, this is the last thing I need is to lose more hair. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Is this closer to your natural color? Or, I mean, like, what color are your pubic hairs? Are they like this color or are they this color? Because usually that's a good a good match.
Do like your, you know.
Do like this? Yeah. I mean, if you're not sure.
You want me to whip it off and show you?
Yeah, well, we'll see, okay? Okay.
All right, yeah. My package is pretty big.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. That's another. See, now you're gonna have great hair, big package.
Great hair and great package.
You're
you know?
good to go, right?
1-2 punch. You know what I'm saying?
Upon completion of the consultation, Pete felt totally confident and comfortable with the whole process. He totally understood exactly where we were going with this and how he was going to look. So generally, day one is consultation. And then the second visit, the client comes back to get the actual hair replacement installed. In Pete's case, we needed to expedite everything, so it was only a couple of days later.
That second day when I walked into the salon, I felt very anxious about getting the hairpiece.
So you're all excited for today?
A little nervous.
Nervous?
A little
Oh,
nervous,
what are
yeah.
your concerns?
Well, I just wanted to look right, you know?
Yeah.
I just wanted to look good. Just look as natural.
Look natural,
Yeah.
absolutely. I promise
Yeah.
you it's going to look natural. What I'm going to do to start is I'm going to blindfold you.
Okay.
Because I just have to do a little preliminary myself just to check, everything's good. The base looks good and the color and everything. And then we'll get started after that, okay? You're going to look like the Frito Bandito over here, okay?
We played a little joke on him. Before I showed him the actual hair replacement, I put a fake hair replacement on him.
This is pretty much what you're going to look like, okay? Just to give you an idea.
Cool.
All right, so check it out. How's that look? Wow, looks really good. I just have to cut the bangs and that's it. Right?
Interesting.
I think that looks really natural. What do you think?
It does. It does actually. Yeah, that's cool.
Right? Absolutely, yeah. You got bangs now. You haven't
Yeah.
had bangs, right? You still have your receded hairline?
That is awesome.
He actually liked it. It was funny because it's a little sample that I use for color sample, and he actually liked the way he looked in it. It was very funny.
All you need to attach it is Scotch tape. Do you have Scotch tape at home? If not, I could get you some Scotch tape, okay? I'll hook you up.
Okay.
All my customers go home with Scotch tape. It's my gift. So basically, that's it. Just cut the bangs. It looks natural, right?
Yeah, it does.
Let's go, Pete. It's a joke. It's not. It's not the real piece. So if you like this, you're gonna love what you're gonna get.
I don't know what the hell I was getting into. I was like,
Scotch
is this it? Scotch tape?
So once we were done with our little prank, I showed Pete his real hair.
Obviously, the hair's too long. I have to cut that down.
You gotta cut it.
Yeah, we'll go through that whole process. So I'm gonna attach it like here, cut it in, and spike it.
That is funny.
Pete's piece was completely custom made. It was not something sitting on a shelf. It was not something out of a box. I sent the measurements to my manufacturer, and they literally took a piece of lace, cut it into the shape of the mold, and hand tied each hair individually into the piece for me.
I was first a little nervous about the length of it. And then once she told me how she was going to cut it down to fit my head, I was a little more at ease.
Yeah, so I'm just going to wash it quick now, okay? And then I'm going to put my medical adhesive on, attach it, and then we'll get started with cutting, okay? Cool. It's important to wash the hair all in one direction so it doesn't tangle and knot up.
Then what I do is I take the medical adhesive, apply it to the back of the hair replacement, and then place it onto the client.
So I'm putting this medical adhesive on it so that it stays on all the time. You don't have to worry about it falling off in the shower or during intimate moments or anything like that.
Hopefully
okay? Anybody
intimate
pulling in and tugging on it, it'll stay on, okay?
Yeah.
When it is ready to come off, it'll get loose. You'll feel it kind of getting loose a little bit because your hair is growing underneath it. So you'll need to come back to me to do that. And I have special remover, so to speak, to take it off of you. And then I wash you, I cut you, I blow you, and then I put it back on.
You should blow me. Nice.
Blow dry, I should say. Exactly.
Love it.
Put you back together, and then you're on your way. And that can be anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, Pete, so I'm just going to ask that you look straight ahead, keep your hands under the cape without touching yourself, and just, okay, like that, that's great. Okay, just as of right now, just look straight in the mirror, okay? Okay, and now just look at my finger, okay? And then follow me with your nose, okay? Very good. Just put your head up a little bit. Perfect, and just stay right there. Thank you very much. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay. Again, I just want to reiterate the base. Okay, it's a medical adhesive on the base. All right, so it's designed to stay for a month. Okay, and then I'm just going to place it where your natural hairline would be. Okay, and then
Actually putting it on.
Yep.
Okay. Karan, throughout the whole process, made me feel at ease, letting me know that it was going to go as smooth as possible.
Now just look straight ahead in the mirror, please. Okay, and I do my little test, which I call my Mickey Mouse ears. I just go like that to make sure that it's even, which it is. Okay, and look, even if you were to leave your hair long, which we're not, okay?
Like this.
Like this. Look how natural. I mean, it just looks like it's growing out of your head, right? Isn't that amazing? Once I cut it in and spike it, it's going to look even better.
When the hair replacement comes in, the client is always apprehensive as to what it's going to look like. Because it's a lot of hair, it always looks darker, it always looks curlier, straighter. It always looks the opposite of what they think they want and what they're going to get.
I noticed it's a little darker back here.
Well, this is the thing. The hair that I made you is not going with your hair back here. It's blending with the hair up here.
With the hair in the front.
This is now your front hair, which you did not have.
Okay.
This is your crown, okay?
Okay.
And heading into the back of your head. It needs to blend with this hair and your temples and your sides.
Okay.
That's what it needs to blend with.
My concerns were how it was going to look, how it was going to look on my head, and, what color it was going to be, if I was going to be able to spike it up or not. So, there were concerns there.
The hair will come down here, okay?
That's crazy.
So you could slick it back, you could spike it up. Anything you would do with your own natural hair, you would do with this hair, okay?
That's crazy.
Great, so now we'll start cutting, okay?
Yep.
When I cut in a hair replacement, basically what I do is I start in the front and I cut the hairline. The hairline is the most important part of a hair replacement. It's done with a razor, it's done with thinning shears. It's a technique that I've perfected over the 30 years of my being in business. Then what I do is I take it in sections and cut around the perimeter of the piece to blend with Pete's hair. All along taking into consideration the type of look he wants. He wants the spiky look.
Now I'm just here cutting it and it's getting shorter. I feel more at ease the way it's gonna look in the end, the way that I wanted it to look like.
Overall, I was very, very happy with the way everything came out. It looked great.
When I first saw Pete walk through the door to the Stern compound, I thought, what does a twitching guy with Tourette's and a lot of weird mannerisms need? A fake hairpiece that doesn't match the natural color of his hair. That'll learn him.
What's up, man?
Hey, Gary.
Good to see you, dude. What's happening?
How you been?
Good. Look good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you.
He's telling me how he's somewhat disappointed he hasn't gotten pussy in the first week. So give it time.
I'm getting a little excited.
You didn't get it in the first 40 years. Did you wait another week?
Yeah, it's a week.
Yeah. I'm feeling adrenaline rush. My adrenaline's pumping. I'm getting real anxious and nervous to go in front of a national audience to show my hair.
He was fidgeting with his little buttons and snaps on his wrists, so he definitely had some anxiety.
So what's with Medicated Pete's toupee?
It's interesting looking.
I got to see this thing. Bring him in here. Oh, wow. You know what?
Oh, no.
He walked in and he sat on the couch, and for the first time he was able to look me in the eye. He had like a cocky attitude or something.
Dude, you totally are looking at me like in the eye, like you're all confident now with the hair.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted.
You know, he is kind of attractive with hair.
Yeah, look at him. You're falling for him. Huh? What, did you read 50 Shades of Grey and get yourself worked up?
So I'm sitting in the green room, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, they come and get me. Gary comes and gets me and brings me in, which I totally did not expect.
Hey, Karan, how you doing?
Good morning.
Of course, I'm really excited and really happy, but at the same time, really apprehensive. Like, okay, now he's going to say how bad he really thinks, the hair looks.
Why does the color not match his? Like, he has a different color on top of his head than he does on the side.
Was that by design?
Yeah. Did you want two-tone hair?
His hair that he had there, his very soft vellus hair, baby hair, was that color.
I see.
And his hair, as it goes back, the new hair graduates into his own hair, so it actually gets darker as it goes back. When you look at him, though, you don't want to see a dark
I thought
hairline.
it was that we didn't pay enough.
I was just too caught up in the moment, too anxious to even hear what he had to say about it. But generally, he did like it. It did get a good response from him.
Look good, man.
Hey, how you doing?
You look good.
You know,
I got that.
trying to.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
That was awesome.
Trying to do something different. Does it look really messed up? I mean,
The front looks good, but right in the middle, you got a big bald spot.
right
Well,
here.
that's because of the
middle.
headphones.
The headphones.
Up here.
No, keep going back.
Up here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me see. Put
Up.
it down.
Up here. Oh.
Yeah, it's got to get fixed.
You got to work on that.
Like I said, his hair was like blonde all
You
in
look good,
here.
though, man.
But what am I
Thanks,
doing?
you know.
Fall is
Yeah. You feel more
lower.
confident.
I've been trying
It
to.
looks good.
You know, something different, something that I just wanted to look into. So.
If you didn't tell me anything, I don't think I would have even noticed that he looked any different. You know, I don't think it made that big a difference. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, you know, I think if he changed his shirt, he'd get the same reaction.
I think Howard liked it, right? He didn't,
Sounds like he did.
Yeah, definitely,
yeah.
right? He didn't hate it.
No.
So that's good, right?
Yeah.
I know it was really important to Pete that everybody here at Howard really liked his hair. So he went around to everyone at the office, and overall, everyone liked it.
You seem like you just have more excitement and energy, and you have good eye contact going.
Yeah.
So you're like all over the place. Seriously, I'm being serious. His confidence is clearly up. He's looking people in the eye. He's standing taller, even though he's so diminutive. He just is carrying himself a little bit differently. So overall, I think it's a good idea for Pete to do what he did with the hairpiece.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it.
Oh, that's sweet, bro.
You look nervous.
No, I just don't want to hurt it or anything. It's like spiked up, a little blonde.
That's rug in my head now.
No, it looks good, man.
I don't think it's going to help him get laid. I don't see more pussy in his future with that thing on his head.
Looks good. You look younger. You definitely look younger.
I was first looking head on and his head was down, so all I saw was that blonde tuft, and I didn't think it looked bad. And then he turned his head, and I saw the rest of his hair, which was a completely different color, was not attached to the tuft in the front, and it didn't look so great. But you know what? I like Pete a lot, and if it gives Pete a little bit of confidence, I'm okay with it.
I touch it. Is it good?
Oh, look like somebody got caught in the butt in his head.
Thanks, Pete.
Somebody cut his color.
You got it, man. All right. Good. You like the new look?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The new do.
The new dough?
The new do. I just got a new hair transplant this past week.
You're acting weird. You gotta go.
And we voted on you. It took 2 seconds.
Hey, Richard,
Leave Richard's busy. New dude. What is he talking about, Richard?
I don't want to say anything bad because Karan was really nice, and so I'm going to just say it looks great. It looked really good.
Fuck.
What are you doing back here? What do you
Hey,
want?
Richard.
Richard's busy. We're cutting stuff up. We're working. What do you want?
Yeah, you like it. You like the dough.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You like the dough.
Yeah. What's that? You know what I like to do? I like to shut the door.
I would say before this, considering that Pete kind of looks like an emaciated Sting on crack with HIV, the hair made him look like an emaciated, crack-headed Sting with HIV with hair.
You like the new hairstyle.
Good luck, buddy.
Interesting, huh?
No, but there's a lot of you that's interesting. The hair's just the start.
Pete looks like an idiot. There you go. Done. That's it. That's all it needs to be said.
Hey, how you doing?
Amanda,
Like the hairstyle?
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
talked about it. Let's go.
And finally, Will had me hit on one of the female interns.
So the reason why I know it's not.
That's not good. I am single as well. So, you know, want to have a chat later on? We can do it.
I'm actually taken, but you know, thank you for the offer.
All right.
I would give him a fair chance and go out on a date with him if I were single and I were not in love with my boyfriend, and if he had asked again. And you know what? Why not?
They just don't know what they're missing, you know. Big penis, big personality, you know. Chicks love the penis and they love a big dick.
I think it's going to go really well. Robin's concern was the maintenance, and that is a major part of it. Because looking good now is, you know, inevitable, but later on, let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll be able to maintain it. I'm going to keep on top of him and instruct him what to do. And even though we'll have like a long distance relationship, we'll try to maintain it as best we can. Pete, listen, don't fuck with me. You better come in and get your service, okay? I'm gonna hook you up. I don't care how many fucking trains you gotta take, okay, to get to me, but you better come for service and you better be looking good. Otherwise, I'm gonna hunt you down and rip the thing off your fucking head.
I promise I will maintain this look. I mean, I really want to keep it going and to maintain this look. And next time you see me, you'll see a new, improved Medicated Pete. Hey, you like my hair, girls? I mean, come on over. This is fucking sick. I mean, look at this. Look at this. I've been living long for this. You love it? I mean, come and get me. Come and get me. Would you like some fucking roses, my love? I have some fucking roses right here, my love. I should come get some of this, my love, you know what I mean? I should fuck you, you know? Fuck you, my love. Yo, what's up, man? Yo, fucking sick show in the back, man. Fucking rocked it, man. 20,000 fucking people, dude. Just fucked up and like coked out and shit. And fucking rocking on, dudes. I mean, we're going all out, man. We're going all out. Come and get some of these. Oh, lovely, lovely, beautiful, beautiful.
You look like when they put E.T. in a wig. All right, that's good, man.
John Lieberman is here with some headlines. He's got a breaking story about a new feud that's broken out here on the show.
Really?
This is a feud between...
John Lieberman was hired because he's Jewish.
Who's the new... John looking at Sour Shoes. Something to look at, isn't it?
How you doing, Sour?
Good morning, John.
I spent a day with Sour.
That was
I know,
great.
you're at his house, and you said his room is like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, his room resembles my 5-year-old's room. There's Hot Wheels cars, there's G.I. Joe figures, there's animated shows on the TV. I mean, what cartoons? You were watching cartoons.
He can't be a brony. No, don't tell
Are you a
me.
brony?
That was actually the cartoon I'm helping create, Ming the Minibus.
I'm
What?
part of a cartoon called Ming the Minibus.
Oh, yeah? I don't care.
Yeah,
All
so he was-
Anyway,
he
so
was
John, what is his story?
So we
What's
have a
the-
few breaking.
Give it to it.
We have a few breaking stories, Howard.
Yeah.
The first is this new feud that you just referred to. The relationship between Jason Kaplan and J.D. Harmeyer has deteriorated.
Yeah, I think I have some
Really?
tape on this. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, here's J.D. and Jason fighting. J.D. now is in a feud with Jason. Think about that.
I guess some guys just, want to just pump up their Twitter.
Hold on, is this Jason's passive-aggressive way to try and make sure he's seen as the best employee ever around here?
You heard what he had to say. I'm not going to disagree with him. I am the best employee around.
By the way, what's wrong with the guy trying to prove he's the best employee around here?
It's not a proofing. It's actually doing a good job.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. It started when Jason voiced his displeasure that the Block Party guys tweeted out photos of the weekend's events instead of sending them to Jason for howardstern.com.
Yeah, well, they don't give a fuck. This show doesn't do anything for them. Jason's right. Jason's the only motherfucker around here who cares. Ronnie, send it to howardstern.com if you got a picture. We're the fuckers who are putting you on the map. You too, Shuli.
I didn't.
What?
I didn't send any out, Howard.
Who did it? Ronnie?
No, we.
And what's wrong with Jason pointing that out? I commend you. Well, he is the fucking best employee around here.
No. It's not just that.
What? What's wrong with him being a good employee?
No, it's not that. He's making it seem like I don't give a fuck about the show when
You don't?
I do. Yes, I do.
Why did you?
Howard, can I help out a little bit?
Go ahead.
Jason's big complaint is that the Block Party goes away and they tweet and they send out all these pictures, but specifically...
Well, I guess Twitter employs them, and they're trying to build up Twitter.
But specifically with JD, he's like, hey, you get to go out on the Block Party because of the show, yet you come back and you won't tell us who you fuck.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying with the pictures, I don't get that.
The pictures, and this has been a long time. Like I've tried setting up Dropbox accounts with these
hold on,
guys.
hold on.
I've talked to them.
Hold on.
Why are you going to interrupt me? I'm sitting there talking.
No.
No.
Okay, fine.
No.
No, go ahead, talk.
No.
In all fairness, it's funnier when JD talks. JD, wait, sorry, what? What'd you say?
JD is very articulate when he's fighting with Jason. I have 45-second sound bites from yesterday where JD doesn't say once. Well, he is very
first
upset
of all,
about this.
Let me just say something, not just for JD's ears, for everyone around here. Being a good employee is a good thing.
Yeah.
Jason's sitting at home saying, hey, why don't you send that to howardstern.com instead of Twitter? Like, who do you work for? Tell me, Howard Stern or Twitter?
I work for you, but there's two things.
So does Twitter ever pay you?
No, but there's two.
All you care about is your Twitter followers and getting verified.
No.
Cancel your fucking Twitter.
If
Every guy here should cancel his Twitter
If
account.
you want me to cancel, I'll cancel.
Good.
I don't
Cancel.
care. Okay, fine. You cancel your douchebag.
He's not the problem. You are.
Yeah, you're the problem.
All right, tell me why what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying. What's your defense?
There's two things.
Okay.
First, instead of being...
What? He didn't even get one thing out.
What did you just say?
It's hard to be around Jason at work.
Why?
Because
when else are you around it?
He's tried asking you nicely to.
No. He didn't ask me at all. That's the problem.
That's not true.
That's so not true. He went over to John Lieberman and did the story in front of me, voicing this displeasure.
He's never said to you.
Rather than coming up to me beforehand and say, "Hey, would you mind?"
Did you go?
Send me the
Does
picture.
JD have a point?
Hold on. Second of all, in the past, before this weekend, in the past. I'm not like the Block Party photographer guy or whatever.
But okay.
But I've told.
Did he ask you in advance to send it to howardstern.com?
No.
I will address both points that JD brought up.
Not my pictures.
I will address both points. First of all, I did the story with John Lieberman as I was sitting at my desk. I didn't go find John anywhere. JD was sitting next to me. I didn't go. I was sitting at my desk doing the story.
Coincidence.
Before JD left for the trip, I stopped by his office and I said, hey, man, if you take any good pictures, send them my way. And I say that to him every single time they go on the trip. And by the way, I didn't single...
Is he lying?
No, I don't remember him coming up to me.
I absolutely did. And I have in the past before.
Say,
and I did not single JD
and
out.
And it's not just you.
Yeah, I didn't single JD out in that